Hi friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today is the final video for 2024, so I thought I'd put together a compilation video of some of the best DIYs of 2024, DIYs that you loved and I loved. So stay tuned for that. But before we get on with the video, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Brenda, and this is my sweet Oliver. And if you're returning, you guys are the best. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this 16 by 20 stretch canvas. I got this at Dollar Tree. I think it comes in a 2-pack for $5. But I started off by taking my box cutter here, and I'm just going to rip off the back side. I'm going to cut it and then rip off the back side of the canvas because I'm not going to be using the canvas for this project. And once I had all of the back part cut off, then I just pulled it off, and in the front it has staples along the corners. I just went ahead and took them out. I felt like the staples they had all along the back was probably good enough to keep it together. And then I took my antique wax and I'm just going to brush it on and wipe it off with a paper towel, and I do this all around the front and the sides of this frame. After it was all done, I laid out 4 of the wood craft sign thingies from Dollar Tree. I traced out where that frame was going to be, and then one of these I needed to cut. So I'm just taking my ruler here and a pencil, and I measured where I needed to cut it, and then I'm using my box knife to score it and cut it. And I will not lie, this was not easy. It was freezing cold outside, and I didn't want to walk out to our miter saw. Plus, I wanted you to be able to see that it can be done if you don't have a miter saw, but I will warn you, it is not very easy, and my arm was very tired from doing it. Plus, I helped my husband get our totes up in the attic, our Christmas totes. So yeah, I was getting pretty tired. So I did kind of sand off all the edges of those, and then I laid them out and I placed these giant craft sticks from Walmart. I'm doing them in a not layer, but as you can see, zigzag pattern there to make sure that they're all covering each one of those boards, because the boards are longer than my sticks. So once I was done with that, I used some painter's tape to tape it off, and then I painted a couple of the boards with that, I think it's Apothecary DIY paint, and then with the rest with my wax. I took one of these brass metal hoops that come from Dollar Tree. This is the medium size, and I'm taking some of this ribbon from Dollar Tree and using my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue to glue that hoop around the front of the frame. Then I'm taking my wood glue and hot glue. I'm going all the way back around the back side of the frame with my wood glue and hot glue, and then I'm going to turn it around and attach it to my painted boards that I have there. And you guys, I absolutely love how this came out. I'm going to hang this up in my living room. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and I finally decided this was the time to do it. So I used some little hot glue there to just tack down the front of that ribbon, and then I'm just going to kind of tack that ribbon to that metal hoop to keep it straight or keep it from moving. Then I took this home word that came from Dollar Tree, and I'm taking some more of that Apothecary paint, and I'm just going over that word. And then once it was dry, I took my antique wax, and I'm going to do some distressing. Now, if you don't like distressing, you can skip this part. I love distressing, and I love the look that it gives. It gives it some extra character, so I just went around all the edges, and then once that was dry, I took my wood glue, and I'm going to take hot glue, and I'm going to glue this to the middle of my hoop. Just like that. Then I took some of this eucalyptus. I got this from Dollar Tree a month or 2 ago, and I cut 4 pieces out, and I'm going to attach 2 with some floral wire, and then I had that floral wire extra long because I'm going to go around and I'm going to attach the 3rd one going the opposite direction, and then I'll attach the 4th one with that wire as well. After that, I hot glued that in place on the bottom of my hoop, and then I took some more wire, and I'm just going to attach the eucalyptus to that wire and then just kind of hide it underneath those leaves. Then I took this ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm making a bow, doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle, and then I'm going to use some jute twine to keep it secure, just like you see. And then I'm going to dovetail the ends by folding them and cutting them at an angle. And then I'm just going to hot glue it to the top, or no, to the bottom with those eucalyptus. Then I took one of these off of a sign recently when I was making something, and I decided to go ahead and use it, and I'm making sure it's centered, and then I'm just going to hammer it in place. Super, super easy. And that's all there was for it. I cannot wait to hang this up. It's going to look great in my house because of our green bookshelves that we have. It's going to fit perfectly. Anyways, I love it. I hope you do too. Let me know in the comment box below what you think about DIY number 1. Okay, DIY number 3. Oh, you guys, I love this one. So I'm going to take this 14-inch wood round. I got this from Hobby Lobby, and I painted the front and the back with my cashew color. After it was done, I'm going to find the middle spot. I'm just measuring where the 7 inches is and marking it, and then I'm just going to use my square ruler to help me make a straight line, and I'm just going to go across my round really lightly with my pencil. I don't want it to be very dark. And then I took my Mod Podge here, and I'm just going to brush that all along the inside part of my wood round. And then I got a little heavy-handed there, and I think I had to take some of that off. But after I set it aside to dry. After it was dry, I took this napkin. I got this napkin from decoupagenapkin.com, and I am going to add it. I removed the 2 layers from the back. I laid it down underneath that line that I created, put my parchment paper over it to protect that napkin, and then used my heat press to reactivate the Mod Podge so that the napkin sticks. After I had that all done, then I took some more Mod Podge and went over that napkin to give it that protective layer. And once I had that all done, I set it aside and let it dry, and I did trim off the extra napkin that was hanging over there. And then I'm just using my little finger sander here to get off the extra bits of napkin that was hanging on the side. Then I decided, okay, we're going to make this rustic and country looking. So I took my antique wax, and I'm just going to distress all the way around my wood round. And then I added just a little bit over the middle, the top part, and then over the napkin too. I just really wanted to give it that countryish look. Then I took this ribbon. I think I got this ribbon at Walmart at Christmas time a year or 2 ago. I don't remember for sure where I got it. It might have even been Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure. In fact, I think it was Hobby Lobby. I think it might have been Hobby Lobby, and it might have been on clearance. But anyways, I'm going to hot glue the back, or the ends to the back. And then I added my decal. I got this decal off of Cricut Design Space. It was funny because I knew I wanted to use this scripture, and I thought, I wonder if it's in Cricut Design Space. So I typed it in, and sure enough, a whole bunch of them came up. So after that, I took these wood hearts. These came from Hobby Lobby, and there are different sizes. I don't know why I did it this way. I did one big for like the capital L, but it kind of looks wonky. I should have just done all of them the same size. But I covered them all with my antique wax, and once they were dry, I'm just going over them with that red. I love doing this. It kind of gives it a barnwood look, and I know many of you guys have said how much you love that look too. So I just added that red over the antique wax. And then I took these letters. I did not paint them. These also came from Hobby Lobby. They are 2-inch, I think. I think these are 2-inch and the other ones are 4-inch. And I'm just going to glue them on the hearts, and then I'm going to use my Type Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue. I'm going to go over the middle of each heart, and then I'm going to add my hot glue. The multi-purpose glue is for permanent hold. The hot glue is for immediate hold. And I'm just going to glue each one of those hearts in place, just like you see right there. And once I have that done, I realized, oh, I need to make holes for a hanger. So I took my big mouth crocodile, and I'm going to make some holes. If you don't have a crocodile, I would say invest in one if you can. They are amazing. They have a smaller one or this one. Sometimes I wish I had the smaller one. But anyways, I took some of this twine from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add some tape to the ends, and I tied one end through the hole there. And then I'm going to add these beads. These beads I got from Walmart. At Christmas time, they have like 6-foot beaded garlands that you can get. They have all kinds of different sizes, colors at Walmart at Christmas time. And I always love looking to see what they have and getting some because it just makes it easier. You don't have to paint them. And I love it. And this year they had these wood looking ones that were just beautiful. So of course I had to get some. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the end there once I strung it through the hole. And there's my hanger and there's my sign. I love this. I adore it. Oh, you have to let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below. Okay, guys, I am stopping in one last time. This is the last time of the year that I will be saying hello. I normally don't stop in when I do a compilation video, but since this is the end of the year, I just wanted again to thank all of you guys who've been here, who've subscribed, who come back and watch my videos all the time. You guys have made this an amazing year, and I appreciate you all so very much. And if you are new here, I would love it if you'd hit that red subscribe button, become part of our YouTube family. Let me know in the comment box that you're new here. I'd love to get to know you as well. And again, you guys, for the end of the year, I don't know how better of a way to end it than to just say thank you to all of you, because you guys all are amazing and mean the world to me. The support that you give me means the world to me, and I truly do appreciate it. But I do have one request if in the comment box that you would just let me know what you would like to see in the coming year. I know between now and February, I mean, we have Valentine's Day. A lot of you don't decorate for Valentine's Day, and I totally understand. I really don't either. I have few, but not a lot. And so sometimes it can be kind of hard between now and spring of knowing what to make. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What would you like to see in the next couple of months? What kind of crafts you'd like to see or DIYs you'd love to see, and we'll see what I can do. And there was something else. What was it? This 56-year-old brain isn't what it used to be. A couple of things. Number one, many of you probably don't know, but we get paid when you watch the ads. So if you could make sure you watch the ads, I would greatly appreciate it. That really does help me. And this is my only job, so this is my only income. And I like to try and feel like I am contributing to the household. There was something else. What was it, Oliver? What was it? I don't know. Must not have been too important, I guess. Oh man, don't you just hate that when you have something you wanted to say and then you just forget it, but it's right there on the tip of your tongue and you can't remember? Yeah, well, that's me. Okay, well, I guess it wasn't that important. So all of you guys, I really hope you have a blessed and safe new year. And yeah, I look forward to the new coming year to see what it brings and what we can come up with. So with all of that, let's continue on with the video. Okay, DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I took these MDF letters. I got these from Walmart. I've had them in my stash for a while, and I painted them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. Once they're all dry, I took my antique wax and I brushed them. I painted them basically with the wax. Now you might be asking, well, why didn't you just do the wax? I tried doing the wax over the MDF, but you really couldn't see a difference. So that's why I decided to do this. But I really love the way this came out. It kind of gives it, when you do the wax over white like this, it does kind of give it more of a wood look finish, which I really, really like. So once I had all of them done, and you'll see here, I'm going to brush it all on, and then I'm just going to kind of wipe off the excess a little bit. And I love the look that I got from this. And oh yeah, I guess I had to show you. I made sure I got the edges as well. And then I just wiped off the extra there. After I had them all done, I took this as an 12 inch. I think it's 12-inch wood plank from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to do the same with the antique wax, brush it on, and then wipe off the excess with my paper towel. And I did this to all the sides as well as the end. And then I took my letters here and I took some more of those faux pearls from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue them all the way around my letters. And it did take a little while, but you know what? I was watching an old version of The Price is Right and just kind of enjoying my time. So, but this is, again, it's all preference to what you like. They looked great even without. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. I gotta take a drink of water. Let's see if that helps. But anyways, I just got I hot glued these all the way around, and I used my little detailed hot glue gun that Kathy Jo gave me. Thank you, Kathy Jo. And then I took these hearts on a stick from Dollar Tree. I painted the hearts with the plaster. And then before I did the dowels, I marked them. I marked two of them. I'm leaving one at I think they're 12 inches. 6 inches. I don't know what they are. Anyways, I cut two of them down. The two that I cut down are the same size. Then I took my antique wax and a baby wipe, and I am just going to go over the dowels. Just wipe it all on. That gives it a muted look there. Then I took a little brush here, and I'm just going to distress all around each one of those hearts, all three of them. And I'm just distressing around the edges. I'm going to distress some in the middle and on the sides. And yeah, and then after that, man, I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. I went ahead and marked the halfway point. Okay, so it is 18 inches because I marked 9, and then I marked what I'm counting there. I can't tell from here, but I made sure one was centered and then did the other two the same distance from the middle. And then I took them out to the garage and I drilled holes, and I'm adding some wood glue inside my holes. And then I'm just pushing my dowels into each hole. Now, if you don't have a drill, you could definitely just hot glue these on, and I would secure them with like tumbling tower blocks, put one in the front, one in the back. That would kind of help secure it as well. And then after I had that done, I took my letters, and I'm going to use my hot glue and my wood glue here. And I'm going to glue the letters in to the front of the wood piece there, just like you see me doing right here. And I decided to lay them all out to make sure I was putting them in a good spot so they are all even. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I put the faux pearls on the wrong side of the V. So it's really backwards. And I know you probably can't tell or would really notice unless you looked at it, but the wider side is supposed to be on the other side. Oh well, so I took some more of these solo wood flowers. Now these are the kind, when I ordered them, I thought I ordered them in color, and they were raw, and they sent me the dye, and I've never dyed them, and they've been sitting in the bag, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this color turns out perfect with all this, because the plaster is not completely white. It's got a little more of a cream color to it, and I love the way this came out. And so I had some of these die cut hearts from Dollar Tree, so I decided to go ahead and hot glue them to the front of those hearts. And I went back and forth on adding some lace to the bottom of each heart, but it just isn't my style. And I know it would have been really shabby chic, but you know me, I'm more rustic. So I decided to make some finger bows, and I'm doing this really slow motion so you can see how I did it. If you need to reverse it and go watch it again. And then I just made 3 of them, and then I'm going to hot glue them to the bottom of each heart. And that's all I did to it. Oh, I love this one. I think this is my favorite out of all of them today. I just love the way this came out. And this you could have this up year round. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. It would be perfect. Okay, here's DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I am going to use 2 of these MDF barns from Dollar Tree. And I am using my heat gun to remove the top piece here. Now they do have some little brad nails that are holding them in place. So you do want to be really careful. I'm trying to be really careful because I did not want to break this. So I'm just doing that really I did it pretty slow. And then I'm going to remove all of the paper. I did hammer in those brad nails, and then once I had all the paper removed, I spritzed it down and then scraped it off. And then I painted both sides with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson. Now, I know this is MDF, but I'm going to be using wood along with these because I didn't have any wood barns. I'm going to take, after they're painted, I also painted the top pieces white, and then I'm using my Titebond Thick and Quick multi-purpose glue and my hot glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to place those back over the top part of my little barns. And after that, I took 2 of these reed sticks that I get from Amazon. I do believe there's some in my Amazon store as well. And I'm going to paint them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Once they were all dry, I took my ruler here and I'm measuring. I wish I could remember what the length was, but I cut 2 down. No, I cut 2 down because of the 2 barns, but I'm going to make the barn doors with these. So I am just kind of doing some measurements here on the ones that I need to cut down. And I am going to use my miter shears. You guys, if you don't have those, I recommend getting some because they are amazing to use for stuff like this. And so after I had all my pieces or some of my pieces cut down, I start laying it in place just to kind of make sure I have everything going. I have my 3rd piece here that I need to make for the middle. And then I think I'm going to glue them all in place next. Let me see. Yep, I'm going to just use my hot glue and glue each one of those in place so that way when I do the middle sections, everything is staying still. And that helps me get the right sizes for the next step, because the next step is a little more tricky. So I'm going to take, once I finish this middle section here, I'm going to take some more pieces. I'm going to take a piece, I'm cutting the top part at a 120-degree angle, and then I laid it down and I marked where that piece hit the middle piece, and then I cut at the same angle. And then there it was. And I just did that. This was a little longer than what I needed it to be. I would rather it be longer than shorter. So I just kind of kept cutting just a little bit at a time until I got it down to where it fit. And then I just did that for 4 more pieces. And then I just hot glued them all in place. After that, I took some giant craft sticks from Walmart, and I am just marking where they're going to be hitting the end of the barn. And then I'm going to use my scissors to cut them down. Now, when you cut these things, you want to make sure your hands are really close to where you're cutting. That way it doesn't splinter, because it does splinter the top part. Then I painted everything, a shelf, one of those small shelves from Dollar Tree, and those craft sticks with my crimson color. Then I'm going to use my wood glue here and some hot glue, and I'm going to attach those barns to the bottom, which is that shelf. And this is the shelf that comes in a 2-pack. So I'm just using one. And then after I have this all attached, you guys, I just absolutely love the way this came out. It is, I think, stinking adorable. And yeah, there we go. Pretty easy. And then I took these pieces and I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and wood glue to the ends. And then I'm going to put one on the bottom on each side. And then I'm going to put the next one right under that, the top part of the barn that comes out, if you know what I mean. But you can see what I'm doing right there. So once I have my hot glue and wood glue on there, I'm just going to add another one there. And I do the same thing on the other side. Then I took some stars that I had in my stash. I painted them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And I'm going to add one right there. I was trying to figure out what to do. I could have made another little window, but I didn't want to go through the hassle of cutting all those wood pieces again. So then I took some floral foam. I added some hot glue so it would stay in place, added some more hot glue on top, and then added a whole bunch of Moss. This is a huge bag that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then I took some flowers and some eucalyptus leaves from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to fill this up so that it's a little planter. Now, you guys, this would be really cute, like in your kitchen, if you know, had like a mason jar, salt and pepper shaker, or I don't know, any kind of salt and pepper shaker, or maybe a, I don't know, napkin holder or utensil holder or something would be really cute. Yeah, I think it would be adorable. And anyways, I used it as a planter instead, and there it is. I love how this came out. I love it. I really love it. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 3. So I'm going to use this 14-inch wood round that comes from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to paint front and back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. After this was painted, and now again, if you have the wood rounds from Dollar Tree, you could absolutely use the Dollar Tree one as well, but I just felt like that sign fits this better. Anyways, once that paint was dry, I covered it with my Mod Podge here, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry. And once I had this all covered, almost there, I'm going to take this He Is Risen sign. This was in my stash. I got this last year from Hobby Lobby. I think I got it like when it was marked down to like 75% off. And then I had this tissue in my stash from Hobby Lobby, this tissue paper. I've had it for a while, and I just thought it was so pretty, and I thought this would look great. So once my Mod Podge was dry, I laid my tissue paper down on it. I put some parchment paper over the tissue paper to protect it. And then I'm using my heat press here to go over that tissue paper so that it reactivates that Mod Podge and causes the tissue paper to stick. I love this trick because you don't get any wrinkles really. Then I trimmed off all that excess, and then I went over it again with Mod Podge. Now, this is where you want to be careful, because if you put on too much Mod Podge, it will start wrinkling. It will start wrinkling, so you want to be careful. If that happens, you can do the heat press trick again, and it might help. Did I say this before? I painted that with my celery, and I painted the He Is Risen. I was going to go over it with gold, but I thought it might help it pop, but it didn't. So I just took my wax, my antique wax from Waverly, and went over the He Is Risen part. And then I sanded off the excess tissue paper. Now I'm using my Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue. Can you tell I like saying that? And I'm going to go over the middle part. I'm just going over the back of all the letters. And then I'm just using my hot glue to go over the outside part of the leaves and flower. Now I did add a little gold around the flowers to give it a little dimension, but after that I hot glued some roses inside where those flowers were, and I thought I don't know what happened. I guess I didn't record it, but then I just made some holes, added a lace hanger, and there it is. I love this. It is just so beautiful. Oh, I love it. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Is a DIY in number 2. Now this one was inspired by my best friend Kathy Jo with Kathy Jo DIYs. Most of you know who she is, but if you don't, she is amazing. She is so talented and she is hilarious. She cracks me up all the time, and I love listening to her accent. It's amazing. Anyways, she does amazing work, and when I saw that she did this, I fell in love with these and I wanted to recreate these. So I'm going to take these birdhouses from Dollar Tree, and I got a whole bunch of these sticker things from Dollar Tree as well. So I just grabbed everything that I had, and I decided to take these are kind of like a flower looking beaded stickers, and I'm just going to go over the top part of the roof of one of these birdhouses, and I'm not going to do anything in the middle. I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. And then go on the other side as well, just like you see right there. And then I'm going to go over the bottom, but I ran out of that, so I had some pink ones that matched, and so I'm just going to add the pink because I'm going to paint over it so you're not going to see it. Then I just took one of those little flowers and cut it off, and I put it right on the top above the hole. And then these, they kind of look like crowns, and I thought they were kind of cool, so I decided to go ahead and take these, and I'm just going to put 3 on each side of the roof. And then after that, I took, these are just like some plain rhinestones, and I'm just going to go all the way around the base of this house with those rhinestones. And once I had that one done, then I'm going to take this set here, and I cut out the middle of this one so that I could put the ring around. Now, Kathy Jo did the same thing. She had these, and I loved the way it looked. And so then I just started alternating some of the bigger little teardrops here with the smaller teardrops. And I'm just going to go around the whole edge again of the roof of this one, and then I'm going to go over the bottom too. I then took that middle part that I had cut around earlier, and I stuck it on one side, and then I'm just going to recreate another one. It's just one of the round diamond looking things, and then the teardrops that went around it, although mine came out a little bit smaller because I think I put those teardrops a little too close, but I don't care because I love the way it came out anyways. You're really not going to notice it. After that, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Lavender and in plaster, and I'm mixing them together to lighten it. And then I'm going to go over this one with the Lavender. Now, I am just going to go over the top and the bottom with this color because I'm going to do the middle with a darker color. Then I did the same thing with Waverly Night Sky and plaster, mixed it all together, and went over the ceiling or the roof of one and the bottom of that one. And then I did the same with my celery and plaster, but it's really hard to tell the difference. Now here I'm just painting on celery. Now Kathy Jo did moss, and I wish I would have done moss because I was hoping that the color would be different enough, but this one I must have added too much. I don't know what I did, but it's not that big of a difference. You can barely tell the difference on it. But I did that with all the other colors too, and I love the way they came out. They're so pretty. So I'm going to take 12 tumbling tower blocks here, and I'm going to use my Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue and hot glue, and I'm gluing 6 together end to end. And then after I have 2 strips of them, I'm going to glue one on top of the other, and I'm just going to do the same thing using my Tight Bond glue and hot glue. And then I'm going to add that other strip right onto the top of it. And then I'm just going to add a few clips to it to just kind of hold it in place for a little bit while that Tight Bond sets. And then I'm going to make 2 more sets. One is going to be with, it's going to be, that one was 6. No, that one was 8. That one was 8, 6, and 4 is what I did. So I did 3, 3 of them, 8, 6, and 4. Just remember that. Double that. Oh my goodness, I can't think. Okay, so I took the big blocks from 5 Below, and I made 2 sets with 3 and 1 set with 2. I'm gluing my post to them with my hot glue, and I just went around it with some more hot glue just to kind of seal it. And then I went over it all with my antique wax. So once I had that all done, then I took some of this, this is like ivy ribbon. I got this from Amazon. I think I have it in my Amazon store, and I'm just going to hot glue this around. Well, I don't really hot glue it much. I wrap it around and hot glue it at the top and the bottom. And then I decided to go around the base of this birdhouse. Now the other 2, I went around the base, but I also went up. I think I'm going to show that. Yeah, I went up on the front here, and yeah, I think it's cute. Kathy Jo did the same thing, but as you can see, that blue one, it looks much better because it's darker. The lavender, you can barely tell the difference, but oh well. Anyways, I'm going to go over the bottom part with some moss, and then I'm taking some little flowers. These yellow ones came from Dollar Tree, and then these pink ones came from Temu, and then I have some brighter pink ones that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to add them onto the bottom. And then I'm going to add some onto the top. Now, one of these birdhouses, I added a butterfly that I had gotten from Amazon a couple of years ago. it's kind of like a sticker. And then I added a little bird that I got from Amazon on one of the posts on one of the houses. And then I think this one, I just added a little bow towards the bottom, and that's all I did. And I love how these came out. They are so cute, and you'll have to make sure you check out Kathy Joe's. She did an amazing job, and I really did copy a lot of what she did because I just loved what she did. But I'll have links to her video and channel in the description box below as well. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this 12 by 12 wood piece I got from Woodpecker's Craft. I'm going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in the color sandstone. I painted both sides. Then I took this stencil that I bought last year at Essential Stencil. I thought it was hilarious. So I taped it to the front, and I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Night Sky to pounce my brush over the stencil. And as you can see, before I put it onto the stencil, I wipe my brush off, or wipe off the excess onto my little pad there. And then I go ahead and pounce up and down on the openings. Then I'm going to remove that, and it turned out perfect. I thought for sure, because there was one time I forgot to wipe off the excess. I thought, oh, it's going to bleed, but it didn't. I was so happy. Then I took some washi tape and I taped it along. I left a 1/4 inch opening from the edge, and I'm just going to go over that with that Night Sky as well. And then after I have it all covered, then I will go ahead and remove that washi tape, and look what I did. So I was able to use a baby wipe to wipe that little boo-boo off. After that, I took 2 of these picks from Dollar Tree. I think they're just called greenery. And I cut them all apart. And then I'm not going to use all of the picks. I'm just kind of sorting through to see which ones I want to use because I didn't want it to be too full. Then I laid them down on the top of my picture frame here, and I'm using my little staple gun to attach those instead of hot glue, and just making sure that they're attached good. And then I'm taking this ribbon. Now, I got this from Kathy Joe. She sent this to me, but she got it from Sam's Club. But if you recreate, you can do whatever ribbons match whatever colors you're using. And then this other ribbon I had in my stash, and it came from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to do the awareness ribbon bow, scrunch them up in the middle, add the 2 together, and tie some jute string around them to keep their shape. Then I'm going to fold the tails inward and cut at an angle so that we can dovetail the ends. And then after that, I decided instead of using hot glue again, I was just going to go ahead and staple my bow in place. It's a more secure and permanent way to do it. But if you wanted to use hot glue, go ahead. But I did do some hot glue on the bottom just to kind of help tack the bottom part of it down. Then I just took some jute twine. I tied some knots on the end, and then I made sure to find the middle spot. And then I'm just using my stapler to staple that twine in place for a hanger. And that's all there was for this. This is a fun front door sign. I just love it. I think it's hilarious. It says, "Doorbell broken. Please yell ding dong really loudly," or loud. So I hope you like this too. If you do, let me know in the description or comment box below. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So this is a really easy DIY. I'm going to take this bunny wreath form and this lavender from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some floral wire, and I'm going to remove the tags. I'm going to cut these picks down to the very last ring that's on the bottom part of the picks that shows where they're connected. And I'm going to cut each one of those down as I go. And then I'm going to use my floral wire to attach them to my wreath form. Now, I recently saw and found, it's a channel, I think it's called Jessica Lynn at Home. I found this the other day. I was going to do this for the recreation inspiration that I was in earlier this week, or this last week, but I didn't have enough lavender to do it, and I was so bummed. And then I had gone to Walmart, and I found a whole bunch of their lavender. And so I grabbed it and thought, I'm going to make it for this video because I just thought it was so beautiful. So I will have a link to her video in my description box so you can check it out if you'd like. But all I did was just layer each one of these, and I just alternated the colors. And then once I had them all on there, I just kind of fluffed them all out and made sure it looked all nice and even. And then I took some of this fuzzy yarn that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to wrap it around the ears. And when I got down to about the flower line there, I just went ahead and went around both of the ears and then came back up on the other side so that I could finish the other ear. And I know you're not going to see me do that part, but once I got it done, I just cut it off, and then I just put a little hot glue and glued that yarn together. And that's all there was for that. Super, super easy, but look how gorgeous it is. It is just stunning. Of course, my favorite color is purple, so that's probably another reason why I think it's beautiful. But you have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So I'm going to use this wood piece I just recently got from Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99 but was 40% off, so it brought it down to $1.80. And I'm going to paint the boots yellow with my Waverly chalk paint in the color maize, the bottom part of the boots white, and then the flowers and the leaves with that fern color. Then I took a paint bottle and I turned it upside down because the lid part was a little bit smaller, but it wasn't completely round. So I'm tracing the round part with a pencil, and then I kind of twist my bottle so that I can get the other part traced out. And then once I got them all traced out, I took my white chalk paint and a small brush, and I just outlined each one of those polka dots with my white paint, and then I actually used a little bit bigger of a brush to paint the inside of it. And once I had all of my white polka dots painted in, sorry, this is taking a bit, excuse me. And as you can see, I painted the bottom of the boot white there too. I took a black marker here, a paint marker, and I'm just going to outline it. And I could see like the line of the boot because it has a little bit of the indentation on this wood piece, and that's what I'm just kind of following with my marker. And I'm just going to go along on the bottom part here, and then I'm going to go down the middle of the boots just so that you have that distinction of the difference between the two boots. And I think that's all. Nope, I go down the side of the back part of the boot. And then after that, I went around each of my polka dots with the black just to kind of highlight it. Then I had this huge Gerber daisy I got last year from Dollar Tree, and I put it right in the middle. And then I just grabbed some flowers from my stash, and I just started hot gluing them. I cut the little piece off that sticks out. You don't want to cut too much or the flower falls apart, which if that happens, you just glue it all together. But ask me how I know. But I just kept going around and filling it with flowers so that you couldn't see the outline of where the flowers were on the wood. And then once I had the flowers in, I just started taking some of the leaves from the flowers and just kind of hot gluing them over the green. Now I just painted the green because I was planning on covering it up, but I just thought it would just kind of help add to the leaves when I added them. So then I decided you could use that as a hanger, a door hanger, but I decided to do something more. So I painted a 14-inch wood round from Hobby Lobby with my white color. And then I am taking my square ruler and I'm just making some shiplap lines. And I'm just placing my ruler along the lines and then just tracing from the bottom, just like you see. And then after that, I took my finger and I'm just smearing those lines to give it more of that faded look.
Then I took these letters. These are wood letters I got from Hobby Lobby, or not Hobby Lobby, Amazon. They're like in cursive, which I thought was really cool. I used my Waverly chalk paints in the color peacock, maize, fern, and then apple barrel in the color pink. I think that was pink blush, Concord grape, and I think magenta. I can't read what that was. And I painted all those letters. And then with the word hello, I just took my white paint and my embossing tool. Excuse me, guys. And I'm just making little dots. And then I am going to measure where to make a hanger because these wood rounds don't have hangers. So I'm using my big mouth crocodile and making some hangers before I place everything down. And then I laid my boot down where I wanted it and I'm tracing it out. Now I did something I normally don't do. Normally I will put glue on the round, not on the piece that's being laid. And I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm using wood glue and hot glue. And not the whole boot is not going to be on that wood round. So yeah, I had a mess on my hand. So if you're going to recreate this, I would say put it on the wood round, not on the boot, because you'll see here in a minute, there's wood glue all over my table and it's all over the back of the boot. So I had to do a little bit of cleaning with a baby wipe here. And I did take my heat tool and just kind of melt some of that hot glue on the back of it and get it off. And then I took some Type-on glue. Sorry, guys. It's early in the morning and I just got up. I Type-on glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue all my letters down in place. And again, the Type-on glue is for the permanent hold. The hot glue is for the immediate hold so that I can get on with my video. And then I had these little flowers from a Dollar Tree in my stash, and I'm just going to use hot glue on each one of those and just dab them on. I took some yellow ribbon here and I'm going through the holes, and then when I went to go hang it, it hung too heavy on the side of the boot, so I ended up having to get a longer piece of ribbon and I went through the whole of the boot instead. I might look kind of funny, but yeah, it wouldn't hang straight unless I did that. But there it is. I love how this came out. I think it is adorable. You have to let me know what you think about this as well. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I took this 14-inch wood round from Hobby Lobby and I painted the front and the back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Night Sky. Then I took this garland that I bought last year at Dollar Tree. I'm sure they'll have it again this year. And I'm just going to remove those flowers and beads from that hanger. Then I painted the flowers white. I took some little wood rounds, painted them with the maize by Waverly, and I also painted those wood cursive letters that I got from Amazon with the maize color as well. I'm going to take my wood glue here and I'm going to use hot glue as well. Wood glue's for the permanent hold, hot glue's for the immediate hold. I'm going to put them on the back of each flower and I'm going to lay them in place just like where you see I have them laid. Then I decided to take the same wood glue and glue those little wood rounds onto my flowers. And then I'm going to use the wood glue and hot glue again on my letters, just like you see there. And once I had them all done, I felt like it needed something else. So I took a little sponge dauber here in my Waverly chalk paint in the color maize paint, and I'm just going to go around the bottom part of my sign and make some big polka dots. But after I made them, I'm just like, I feel like it needs something else. So I thought, well, maybe I can go over the white with, sorry, go. I realized some of this was supposed to be cut out. I was going to go over some of the yellow with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And I got all done and I just looked at that and all I could see were eggs, eggs yolks. And so I'm like, oh, I don't like that. So I went back around colored the white with the yellow. And then I decided just to go around with the back of my paintbrush and make small polka dots, and that topped it. Then I took some of these ribbons. I bought these recently from Sam's Club. I thought they were beautiful, and I'm just going to dovetail the ends. I cut them down to 8-inch strips, I believe.
and I have 4 of each color. And I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm alternating them, but I don't know what I was doing. But anyways, once I had them crisscrossed, I took some twine and I am going to tie them tight. And then once I had them tied, I went ahead and trimmed off the excess twine. And then I'm going to fluff my bow, just kind of moving those ends all around so that we have a little more of a circular shape. Then I realized, oh, I need to make a hanger. So I used my measuring tape there to mark where I wanted to place my holes. And I'm taking my big mouth crocodile here, and I'm just going to create holes. If you're interested in buying one of these, I do have it in my Amazon store. They are amazing. After that, I took some twine here and I put some tape on the end of it so I could thread it through those holes. And then I'm just alternating some white beads and the yellow beads that came off of that garland strand. Once I had the amount that I wanted, I went ahead and put that end through the other hole, and then I'm going to tie knots in that twine. So now I have a hanger. And then I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to hot glue it right at the top right hand corner there, and there it is. I love how this came out. It's just so springy to me, and I love daisies, and it looks like daisies, doesn't it? I'll probably have a daisy video coming up soon, but you have to let me know what you think about this one. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to end up using just a little more than a box of tumbling tower blocks, the big blocks. I think there's like 72 in them from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take and I'm going to glue them together end by end using my Tite Bond multi-purpose quick and thick glue and hot glue. Now, if you have more time on your hands, then I would just recommend using wood glue and letting them set. But I created 4 strips of 6, 8 strips of 2, and 12 strips of 3. Then I'm going to take the strips and I'm going to attach them together, the matching strips. So like this is the strips of 6. I put one on top of the other using wood glue and hot glue. Here's a strip of 3. I did the same thing, wood glue and hot glue, and added them together like that. Then I did add a clamp on there just for a few minutes just to let that wood glue set. Then I'm going to I made it in this shape of a cross, and I'm going to use my Tite Bond multi-purpose glue here again and hot glue, and I'm going to glue them all together and until I had every piece glued. Then I painted it with my antique wax. Now, I would recommend painting it first and then gluing it because it made it really hard to stay together when I did that. And I did have to reinforce, I don't know if you can see there, I did reinforce the seams with some little bits of craft stick that I had went over with antique wax. So here I took some chicken wire. I got this from Amazon a couple of years ago, and I am just going to use my stapler and staple it in place. Now, when you use this stuff, you want to be very careful because the ends can be sharp, and I did poke my thumb at one point, but I'm just going to continue and staple it all the way around my little cross here. Well, not little, it's a big cross. Then I took my wire cutters and I just went and cut it all down all the way around my cross until it was all cut out. Then I took these beautiful lilies that I just found at Dollar Tree, and I loved them because they had purple in them. And I'm just going to kind of have them go diagonally across the front of my cross. I turned it over, and then I am attaching the ends of my stems there with some floral wire. And I just went and I attached each one to the chicken wire, and then I'm going to kind of fluff it, make sure it all looks good before I finish putting all the wire on there. And then I just went and cut down all of those stems. After that, I decided to go ahead and add some of this lamb's ear from Dollar Tree. And again, I just used my floral wire to attach it in place as well. And then I did like the same thing. I trimmed off the back of the long parts of those stems. And yeah, after that, what did I do? Oh, I took some half beads here and I am just going to go over them with my antique wax. Now I put them on painter's tape because I find this is the best way to do it for myself. I know there's many other people that do other techniques, but I like this technique the best. And I just go over all of my beads with that wax, and then I just took a paper towel and wiped off the excess. And then after that, I am just going to, I think I just used, did I use only hot glue? We'll see here in just a moment, but I'm going to glue them onto the front right over where those little craft sticks are that I put on for added strength. And I used my tight bond glue and hot glue here. And I'm just going to put these on top of them. And I only did that on the front. And I didn't do it on all of them. I just did it on the ones that you could see just to kind of help hide them a little bit. But for me, it just, adding those little craft sticks really did help give it a lot more support. And this is all I'm going to do with that. I just added those all the way around and it was done. I didn't add a hanger because I can add, or I can hang it right where the top part is with the chicken wire. And I love how this came out. I kind of got this idea from my daughter-in-law's wreath that she made. If you saw a video a few videos back, I showcased her wreaths, and it kind of made me think of this idea. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to take this gigantic wood mason jar from Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99 plus 40% off, so I got it for like $1.80. And I removed the hanger and I painted both the front and the back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. Once it was dry, I took this chalk couture transfer that's called Chicken Coop. It's new to this year. And I am going to use my chalk couture chalk paste in the color Camel, as well as the color Cherry. And I am going to start off by fuzzing my transfer here. And the reason why I'm fuzzing it is it's the first time I've used it. If you're unfamiliar with chalk couture, these are adhesive silkscreen stencils basically, and we fuzz it so that the first time we use it so that it doesn't pull up the paint or the paste when we're removing it. So I'm going to start off by using my multi-purpose tool here, and I'm going over the top part of the rooster and the hen with the cherry color, and then I decided to take my smaller little tool here because it was easier and I'm just going to go around the eyes and yeah, all the stuff that's usually red on a rooster. And then after that, I'm going to go over it again with my camel color paste. And then you're going to see I'm going to pull up my transfer here. And the reason why I do that is because it took me a little bit to get all those little areas. I don't want the paste to dry on my silk screen. So I pull it up to that point and then stick it back down and make sure there's no air bubbles where I need to put the rest of the paste, and then I continue. Now, if you have never tried chalk couture and you are curious about it, I am a chalk couture designer. I do have links to my chalk couture page in the description box. You're more than welcome to click on that and learn about chalk couture, or if you want to email me, I'm happy to discuss it with you as well. I always recommend using the monthly Club Couture subscription. You have to sign up. If you sign up, you have to at least enroll for 3 months. It's $21.99 a month. You give it an exclusive 8x11 transfer with some coordinating chalk paste, so it's a great way to try it out to see if you really like it. But you can find all that information on my page through the link in my description box. Okay, so once that was done, I washed off my chalk couture transfer, and then I created this saying with my Cricut on some stencil vinyl. Now, I saw this at Cracker Barrel on a kitchen towel, and I absolutely loved it, and I wanted to have this saying on one of my DIYs. And since I've been in the rustic mood lately, I figured this was the video to do it. So I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color agave, and I went over the words rooster and chick, and I'm going over the rest of it with Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut. And it says, an old rooster and a young chick live here, or a cute chick live here. And I thought it was so funny because my husband is 7 years older than me. And so I just thought it was so much fun. In fact, when I showed him the saying, he just laughed. So yeah, I can't wait to put this up in my kitchen. I just think it is hilarious. But anyway, so after I got done painting it all, I did dry it and then remove that transfer, or the vinyl there, and then I use my little little Cricut tool to remove the little pieces that were inside the letters. Then I'm taking this removable wallpaper. I get this from Amazon. It is in my Amazon store. I've used this for a couple of years. You guys always comment how much you love it. I love it too. I just think it's so beautiful. I'm going to put a strip on the top and the bottom of my mason jar, and then I'm just taking my little X-Acto knife and going around to trim off the excess. After that, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle, and I'm just going to do some distressing all around it. I'm even going to distress around where the paper is. It just gives it a little bit more rustic look to it. Again, if you don't like distressing, you don't have to do this part if you recreate it. And again, if you don't want to get Chalk Couture, you can recreate this if you have a Cricut. They do have some chickens with this saying, or you could find stickers, you could find stencils with chickens, all kinds of things. So, you know, there's many ways you can recreate this. So I'm going to use some of this braided ribbon. I get this from Amazon, except for I'm almost out of it. In fact, I used all of it doing this. I went around the top and the bottom just where the paper met the wood. And then I was going to go all the way around the edge of my mason jar with this, but I didn't have enough. And the last time I looked, they were out of stock. So hopefully they have it in soon. I need to check again because I am so sad I don't have any more. I know some of you said Michael's has had it. I haven't had a chance to check. I'll have to do that. But I just love this stuff. So I'm just, like you see, I'm just going around to the lid part. And then I didn't cover the top. I was that close. I almost had enough. So as you can see, I poked holes there through the paper for the hanger, and then I just put some tape on the ends of my braided jute cord that I also get from Amazon. I'm going to string it through, and then I'm going to make it the length I want and tie knots on the end, and then we will have a hanger. And I absolutely love how this came out. I cannot wait to put this up in my kitchen. I think it is so cute. But I am going to spray it with some clear adhesive, or not adhesive, protective spray, just to protect that chalk paste on there. Okay, so stay tuned for a quick announcement. Here's DIY number 3. Stay tuned after this. I will show you some stuff that I received from another subscriber as well. Okay, so I took 4 of these frames from Dollar Tree. I just recently found them at Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the stand part from that back of the frame. And then I'm going to remove the glass and the little insert, and I'm going to do that to all the frames. I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle, and then I'm going to also, and I'm just dry brushing along the beads and then around the inner edge of my frame. And then once that was dry, I went over it with the agave. And I said it right that time. And I'm going to just do a little dry brushing. And then after that, I did a little bit more of the truffle. And then I took the insert from those frames, and I'm tracing out again this beautiful paper that I absolutely love. Do you see a theme here? And I'm just going to cut out 4 little squares to go inside of the frames. Then I'm just going to attach those squares to the backing of my frame. This one I didn't cut all the way, I guess. I'm going to trim that off. And then I'm going to replace that with the glass back into the back of my frames. And then after that, I'm going to use my wood glue by Titebond and my hot glue, and I'm going to start attaching them together. I'm going to first do the 2 side by sides, and then I'm going to attach the 2 together, front and top and bottom, like you saw. I wanted a little more stability, so I took some more of those Jumbo Craft sticks, and using wood glue and hot glue, I'm just putting them over the seams on the back of the sign too. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, if you have time to let the other glue soak in and sit. So after that, I took these, I think these are 2-inch or 3-inch, I don't know, wood letters from Hobby Lobby, and I painted them with agave. Once they are dry, I used my Fix All glue. And then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to glue them inside of, on the glass in those frames, so that it spells out home with the HO on the top and the ME on the bottom. And I did not add a hanger. I just used the little clips that are on the back, but you could definitely use or add a hanger if you wanted to. But there it is. I love this so much. Yeah, this is going to be going in my house too. You have to let me know what you think about this. This is all I have today because I know this is a longer video because of my taste test that I did and because of the garden fence. So I'm going to start off by cutting the pieces off of this garden fence here. So I'm just cutting this one little block, I guess you could say, from the rest of the fence. And then I'm going to cut the little post off just like you see me doing. And I'm using scissors. Um, and then it can be a little hard. You do have to also be careful that you don't go crooked because then it can kind of cut the little black parts where you don't want them. So I'm going to cut just this top piece off from the bottom parts. And then I cut 4 of those out. And then I did cut some little swirly things to go in between them. And I'm going to use my hot glue. Now, if you were to create this, I would recommend using like the Tite Bond glue or E6000 or Fix All glue or something. But for video purposes, I just use my hot glue. So I'm going to glue this on just like you see there. And then I'm going to glue everything else on using my hot glue. And I don't know why I didn't use my Tite Bond and hot glue. Don't ask me. I should have. But this is probably going to be up in my kitchen because I absolutely love this. So I shouldn't have to worry about too much heat on the hot glue. So once I had that all glued on there, I painted the whole thing front and back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. Then I took this little stencil brush from Dollar Tree and dipped it in some white. And I'm just going to go and do some distressing all over those garden fence pieces. And I absolutely love this. I kind of got the idea. I saw, I think it was a month or so ago, Holly with Hot Humble Pie had used these garden fences on a heart and she just painted it all white. And it was beautiful. It looked so pretty. And I thought, what a great idea. Although I have done this before when I first started my channel. I can't remember if I did it before I started my channel or for one of my very first projects. I did something similar where I used some of this garden fence um, to make a sign. So yeah. So anyways, once I was done with that, I took this little home sign from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to paint the back of it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And after I painted the sides and the back and I let it dry, I'm going to use, oh, now I'm going to do some dry brushing here too, or distressing all the way around the edges as well with the black. And then I'm going to just do a little bit on the inside of my white sign there too, because I just love distressing. Now, if you don't like distressing, you don't have to do this, but it's just something I love. So I took this IOD stamp. I've had this for a year or two maybe, and I've never used it. So one of the reasons is I didn't have any ink pads. So I finally went and bought one the other day, knowing that I had this challenge coming up. And I'm just going to go over my stamp with my black ink pad. And then I am going to put it right on my side. Now I knew this rooster was a little bit too big for my wood round. And so I knew that some of the tail would be off, but I was okay with that. And then I'm just pushing down really hard on my stamp so everything goes through. But there was a little area that I missed because it came out a little light. But you know what? I don't care because it's all kind of rustic anyways, and that's just the kind of stuff that happens, right? So after that, I'm going to take again my Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue and I'm going to go around the edge, not all the way around. I'm leaving some openings for my hot glue. And then I'm just going to, this must be really thick because it does come out. I really have to squeeze the bottle for it to come out. It's not very easy getting it to come out. So that must be because it's thick. I'm going to add my hot glue here, and then I'm going to add this to the front of my sign. And I thought about using a smaller wood round so you could see a lot more of the fence, but then I would have had to use something else and another stamp, and I really wanted to use that chicken. So I'm using my big mouth crocodile to make the holes for the hanger there. And then I took some of this ribbon. I think this might be from Hobby Lobby, but I've had this in my stash for a long time. And I thought this would be perfect. So I'm making a bow, doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle and tying some twine around it. And then once I have this all tied and a knot. As you can see, I left the extra long ends there. I'm going to make another bow with this beautiful ribbon that I just recently got from Sam's Club. And I'm doing the same exact thing. And then I'm going to put it to the front of that black and white ribbon. And then I'm going to wrap the twine around that other ribbon and then tie my knot that way and then trim off the extra twine so that you don't see it. Then I'm going to dovetail the ends, and you just fold those ends in half and cut at an angle. And then I'm going to hot glue to this. Now I was going to hot glue this over the hanger on that sign, but it would have covered too much of the chicken. So I glued it up top, and then I'm just going to glue the pinkish ribbon here down to where it kind of covers that hole and you don't even see it. And there it is. Then I took some of this eucalyptus, or no, lamb's ear. And this came from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going to hot glue a piece on each side underneath my bow. And then I'm just going to wrap some twine. I'm going to wrap the end with some tape. This is so that I can thread it through the holes easier. Otherwise, the twine can split on you, which is not fun. And I'm just making sure it's the length that I wanted. I didn't want it to be very long, so I'm just going to tie a couple knots on the back, and then my hanger is completed. And there it is. Oh my goodness, I love this. Oh, it's so beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it too. Let me know in the comment box below what you think about this one as well. And again, you could use any kind of stamp or napkin or anything. Okay, it is. Okay, DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I took this wood cow head I got from Amazon. I'm making some lines down the middle of it. Then I'm going to paint the middle and some little wood tags from Amazon with my Waverly chalk paint and the color plaster. And then the rest of the cow with that ink color by Waverly. Once it was all dry, I'm going to take, well, I used my Cricut to create, I got off of the Cricut Design Space some of these decals. I printed them out or cut them out, and I'm adding them onto the tags, and I'm making them two-sided. So basically we have like winter and Valentine's Day, hello spring and Easter, hello summer, 4th of July, hello, or it says happy fall y'all, and Merry Christmas. So I'm just kind of putting them on each side that coordinates or is in rows. So like winter and then Valentine's Day, spring, Easter, that kind of thing. You could put any kind of tag if you want to recreate this. You could just do welcome. I just thought this would be fun to change out for this season. So those little tags come with little holes, but they're really small. So I wanted to make them bigger. Then I took this ribbon. I love both of these ribbons, come from Hobby Lobby, and I don't know why, but for some reason I was just really into this bandana look this week. So I'm making my bows, doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching them up in the middle, and then I am going to connect the two with some twine. And I'm just going to wrap it around and tie a knot in the back and then trim off the excess. And then after I do that, I will dovetail the ends, which to dovetail, you're just going to fold the ends together and then cut at an angle. And I dovetailed all 4 of the tails that were on that bow. Then I made a couple of holes. Now I should have made this a little more to the middle. After I made that first one, I'm like, what was I thinking? That was too far over to the right, but that's okay. We're able to make it work. And then I made 2 more holes, one on each side for the hanger. So my idea is to use a zip tie and to connect my florals and my bow with that zip tie. And the reason why I'm doing this is because that way, this is going to be a door hanger. It could be changed out for any season. So if you wanted to make this more Christmassy, you could put more Christmassy bows on there and more Christmassy greenery. If you wanted to make it more spring, you could do more spring bows and stuff. If you don't want to do this at all, you could just connect it and make it good and just not change it out at all. But I just thought it would be fun to make this to where you could just cut that zip tie off and add a new bow, add new greenery, and zip tie it again. So that's why I did so many holes in the top of my cow
cow head there. And if you're not familiar with what I used a big mouth crocodile. I do have that in my Amazon store. The link is in the description box. I also have the smaller one too. So then I also made a hole in the ear, and then I'm just going to use some twine. You could use like floral wire. You could even use a zip tie if you wanted. I just decided to use twine. I'm going to run it through the hole of my little tag, and I'm just going to tie a knot. That way I can just change out the twine, just cut it off, and change it for the next season. And so once I trimmed that off, that was all there was. It's super easy. I love this. I just added a hanger, just some jute twine in those side holes. And there it is. I love it. You have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. The plunger, you guys. So I'm taking 2 of these wood planks from Dollar Tree, and I'm taking my plungers. I removed the heads. Now these came from Dollar Tree. They have, and usually they're or reddish color, but they have some new ones that are black, which I kind of liked the shape of this better. So I was really happy that I found this. Kathy Jo had seen these as she was showing them to me, and I was happy I could find one here because the ones that I had were all smushed. Anyways, I wiped it down really well, and then I am taking my uh, Fix All glue and my hot glue, and I'm putting it on the top. Now these little wood pieces, they were in my stash. They came off some kind of DIY. I don't remember what they were from. Then I took the handle and I cut it down. And then I am going to paint all of those with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. And I'm trying to remember what the length was of those. I don't remember, maybe 5 or 6 inches. Anyways, I'm going to wrap some twine around the top part of my plunger head. I don't know what you call it. And I just started off with hot glue and then just kind of kept wrapping, holding it down, making sure it was tight, kind of pushing the twine down so it looked even. And then after that, I'm going to glue that end on. Now, I came up with this idea, and I don't know if it is an original idea or if I have seen something like this before on Pinterest, because I came up with this when I was in the middle of the night, and I woke up because I was trying to think, what am I going to do with the plunger? What am I going to do with the plunger? And I thought, oh, if I could find the ones that look like Kathy Jo's, I might be able to make some kind of a light with it. And it just so happened I found the ones like Kathy Jo's, and I found the lights that I was looking for. And I'm like, score. So as you can see, I burnt off the fuzzies there. I'm taking my wood glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue those little dowels onto the top part of my plunger head. Now you see the purple tape there. That's just washi tape. I just had it so I'd know where I wanted to place my dowel because I needed it a certain length so that it, wasn't hitting against my sign. Then I had also taken some 5-gallon paint sticks that they were the tops. I trimmed them down to the size that I needed, and then I'm adding my wood glue and hot glue. And I also painted the other side of them with my antique wax. And I'm going to put one on the top and the bottom. They're 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from the bottom. And as I was going to say, I decided to paint all this black, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with these end pieces because I want this to go in my room, but I don't have anything that was wood color. And I thought about painting these gray to kind of match my walls, but I just really like the black and the antique wax. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it because all my furniture in my bedroom is black, but it's okay. I don't mind. I'm not one that has to have everything matching anyways, and I just love these. So after I had those on, I took some half beads, put them on some painter's tape, and I'm painting them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color black. And I have 12, 3 times 4, yeah, 12 of those beads. So then I'm just going to use my hot glue, and I'm going to glue 3 of them on each one of those little wood pieces there.
And I did that on both of my signs or lights, lanterns. I don't know. What do you call these things? Anyways, I did see some of these kind of like this on Pinterest. So I don't think this was really an original idea, but still, hey, I love this. I took some of these push lights from Dollar Tree and I'm going to glue the little handle down with my hot glue here. And then I thought about using that tape stuff that they have on it, but I'm just not 100% positive that it would stay very well because, it's Dollar Tree. Anyways, so I decided to go ahead and remove that, and I just used my Cricut spatula to help me get it off. And then I'm just going to use my Fix All glue and hot glue, and I glued it to the inside of that plunger head, and I held it in place for, maybe a full minute or two just to make sure it really adheres to that rubber. And then after I was done holding it in place, I screwed the light part on. I did go back and unscrew it and add batteries to it. And you'll see that here in a minute. Or that you'll see it on the reveal. Then I'm just going to add a little hanger. Now I thought about just putting something on the back to hang it on so you didn't see the hanger, but this wood is really thin, so I just decided to add hangers. These are going in my room next to my husband's dresser. I love them. Look how cute that is with the light shining. Oh my goodness. I love these. I hope you like them too. They're a little on the modern side though. It's kind of weird. Okay, here is the boom. So I got this sign at Dollar Tree. Oh my goodness. I thought it was beautiful, and really, I hated taking the paper off, but I hated it more so because it was so stinking hard. I almost gave up. I mean, look, I could barely get any paper off, and I'm looking around the sides because normally with these signs you can have the paper laying over the side, but you guys, they are getting better because there was no paper laying over the side. This, I don't know what glue they used, but it was almost impossible. But I worked and worked and worked, and I got it out off. But again, if you are doing this on your own, you could, and I thought about this afterwards. I'm like, why didn't I make this a two-sided sign? Because I love that picture on it. It would have been great. So you could just do the back. But see, look at the difference. See how much glue is still on there? This stuff was heavy. I had to use my Goo Gone and everything because it was just so thick. But anyways, I finally got it done. I painted it with the Truffle color by Waverly. After it was dry, I took my school glue here and I'm just going to go all the way around it. And then I'm just going to brush it all on. And while it is still wet, once I have all my glue smeared, I'm going to add my plaster chalk paint. I did have to add a little bit more here and there of that glue, but then I added my chalk paint. Now the secret to this is you don't want to go over your one area too many times, a couple of times, um, but you don't want to go over it too much. After I had that all on there, I used my heat gun here and you can see the crackle effect starting. I love watching it. I just think it is so much fun to watch those lines start appearing. And yeah, and then you just keep your heat gun on there until you've got all that crackle on there and everything looks dry and done. And then after that, I took this wood heart I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some of these rhinestone stickers from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go along the middle of my cross with it. Then I took that ivory. You know what? I think that was ivory that I used, not plaster, on the sign. And I'm going to I'm going to paint over all of those rhinestones. Then I'm taking my truffle and I'm taking a really small brush and just kind of going a little bit in between those rhinestones, just so that it's just that middle part that you see the ivory color. And then I'm going to paint the rest of the cross with my truffle color. And then I'm just going to dry it. And yeah, once it was dry, I took my wood glue again and some hot glue, and I'm going to glue my cross onto this sign. Now, when I saw this sign, my first thought was it kind of reminds me of a tombstone. And then this is where the whole idea just kind of came together. And so I'm going to glue this cross right in the middle of my sign.
And was going to say something about, Easter being the resurrection day and all that kind of stuff. But this saying just came to mind, and I just thought, you know what? Jesus loves us so much that he died on the cross for us. He took all of that pain and suffering for all of us so that we can be saved through him. And so I thought, this is what I want to put on there. So Jesus loves us this much, enough to die on the cross there. So that's why I put that saying there. And then I'm going to take, these came from a window cling. I'll show you that in a little bit, but I'm just going to use my wood or school glue, my little purple school glue, and put it on the back of my window clings. That purple does dry clear, so you won't see it, but it works great on window clings. So I'm just going to add it to the back and then add them to the bottom. I called Kathy Jo. I'm like, what else does this need? And she's like, it doesn't need anything. But then I saw these window cling flowers and I thought, what about if I put these on there? Because I just wanted a little bit of color on there. And I just think it just finished it off perfectly. So I'm taking some beads. I actually got these from Kathy Jo. She sent me these too. And I'm just going to string them on here to make a hanger. And I did a couple of round beads and then a square bead and a couple of round beads and then a square bead until I had, I don't know, I think there's like 10 on there. And then I'm just going to string it through. I put some tape on the end of my twine so that I can string it through those holes. Got it to the length that I wanted, tied knots on the back, and then I am done with it. And as you can see, I didn't paint the back of the sign. I almost didn't paint the front. I almost just went over it with the school glue and the ivory, but I decided to go ahead and paint it to make it a little darker. But anyways, there it is. I love this. I think it came out so beautiful. You have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, it is a time for... Okay, here's DIY number 1. So I'm going to take one of these flower pinwheels from Dollar Tree and I'm going to remove each one of those little petals from it. And they are just poked in there, so you just kind of have to play with them. Some of them came out easier than others, but just play with it a little bit and they come right out. After I had them out, now this was I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do or how I was going to do this. So it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I decided to just paint the middle of each one of these, and I did the front and the back. And then I took my daisy burlap that I got from Dollar Tree. I just love this. I think it's so cute. And I'm going to trace it out, but I'm tracing out enough so that I can glue it around the back side of it. And then I'm just going to cut that all out. And I'm going to do this for each one. But I'm not going to show you, of course. I originally thought, okay, I'm just going to take this stuff off of the wires and just do the wire. But yeah, that didn't work so well. So I settled for this, but I like the way this worked out. So I'm going to hot glue the burlap all around the petal. So make sure you use a finger protector because, of course, that burlap is translucent, I guess you could say. I don't know. It's got holes, and so you can burn yourself pretty easily. And then I took this wood round. I think this is like a 6-inch. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby a while ago in a package of them. I painted it with the folk art. It's called Summer Porch. I got that from Kathy Jo. She sent that to me. Once it was dry, I'm taking my Tight Bond multi-purpose or quick and thick multi-purpose glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue this round right on top of those petals, just like you see. And then I got up this morning, early this morning, you guys, because I had no idea where I was going to go with this. And I decided to take a 14-inch wood round from Hobby Lobby, a wood round from Dollar Tree. The Hobby Lobby one I painted with that summer porch. I painted the smaller one with Home Decor Nantucket by Folk Art, and then some cursive letters I got from Amazon. I painted them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. So here I had laid this out. I checked to make sure the letters fit, and I traced it so that I would place it right in this correct spot. I'm using my wood glue and hot glue here, and then I lay my sign down and watch, it moves upward. Watch. See, I pushed it up, and then I'm trying to bring it down, and it was already sticking, and I'm like, oh, so
The letters all fit. I'm using my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue to add these letters. These are letters, 1-inch letters from Hobby Lobby. That Y was a little long. I think I need to go and kind of cut it down a little bit because it was kind of going off the edge. But I went and it says happy as a daisy. I put the happy as on top and a daisy on the bottom. Then I decided to take some of this daisy ribbon. I got this last year from Amazon. I do believe it's in my Amazon store. And I'm just using my Aleene's tacky glue to attach it to the front of my wood round. And I just love this ribbon. It is so cute. But anyways, once I have this done, I am going to make some holes on that big wood round with my big mouth crocodile. If you don't have one of these, I suggest getting one because they are amazing. They have this one and they have a smaller one. Either one would work. I'm going to use my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue again around the back side of my daisy here, and then I'm going to add my hot glue, and then I'm going to add this right in the middle of my wood round. This took a while because like I said, I had no idea what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to make a daisy with those petals, and it just kind of kept coming, and I just kept building on it, I guess you could say. Then I decided to go ahead and put some of this ribbon around the sides of my sign. Now, I kind of wish I would have just cut pieces of the ribbon, of the daisies of the ribbon, and just put like a few here and there, because I feel like it might be a little busy and kind of takes away from the words. You have to let me know what you think, but I still think it's cute. I took some beads here that I got last year from Amazon, and I'm just going to make a hanger. I'm bringing it through, and then I'll tie knot in the back, and that's all there is for this one. But yeah, let me know if you think it's too busy, if I should have just cut the daisy ribbon down into little daisies here and there. But I still think it looks cute, and there it is. And then I kind of feel like something needs to be in the middle of that daisy. Let me know in the comment box below what you think. I'd love to hear your opinion on it as well. And I do have a good self-esteem. I'm not doubting myself or being negative. We all have thoughts about our DIYs, and these are just my thoughts. Okay, I want to take so for this DIY, I'm going to take some Chanel stems that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm taking my little paintbrush here, sponge brush, and I'm just going to twist the white Chanel stem all the way around it like you see. I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to grab a green Chanel stem, also from Hobby Lobby. All my Chanel stems came from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to poke it through, and then I'm going to twist those. And then after that, I'm going to take each one of those loops and I'm going to separate them. And then I'm going to, as I separate them, I'm going to pinch them close. And now I got this idea from something I saw on Pinterest. I'll try and link that in my description box if you want to see it. But I just thought this was a cool way to make some daisies. And so I thought I'd give it a try. So once I had those all pinched, I'm just going to twist those petals to where they're laying down flat instead of side up and down, I guess is what I don't know. I hope that makes sense to you. But after that, I took this yellow one, and actually it was like I had cut one in half and then cut it in half again. And I'm going to just make it round just like you see, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the front of my daisy, and there it goes. Look how cute that is. After that, I cut off some of my green stem there, and I'm going to make some leaves. So I just turned them into leaves by turning it over like that, kind of twisting it a little bit, and I'm going to twist this around the stem a couple of times, and then I'm going to make another leaf and twist the end around it, and then there we go. We've got a leaf, and I just kind of pinch them closed, and we got cute little leaves on our cute little daisies. Aren't those cute? I think I made like 7 or 8 of those. I don't remember how many. And then I painted this truck from Dollar Tree with my home Folk Arc Home Decor Nantucket Blue paint. I love this paint. It's beautiful. It's chalk paint. Then I took the last of my maze by Waverly, and I'm just making some polka dots here with my embossing tool. I kind of wish I would have used the back of a paintbrush. I actually think you get a better coverage when you do it that way. I don't know why I'm always going for that embossing tool. But after that, after the paint was dry, I took it and I made 5 little white dots around the yellow dot to make it look like a flower. And then I added some on the top of the truck too. Then I took this sign from Dollar Tree and I painted the inside of it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and then the frame of it with that Nantucket blue. Once it was dry, I took these tumbling tower blocks. I'm gluing them to the back of my truck. I don't know why I didn't use wood glue, but on the top part, I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue, and I should have done this to the bottom part. And I'm just going to glue this to the front of my sign, and it does go over the frame a little bit, but that's okay. It just kind of gives it that 3D effect. Then I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back of my daisies. Some of them I cut down a little shorter, and I'm just going to layer them inside of my between the truck and the sign. And as you can see, I also painted the wheels of the truck black, and then the back part of the truck with my white. And then I'm just going to glue all of those daisies in there. I use my little spatula to kind of get in between the slats to make sure it's all tacked down. I took some of this ribbon. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby a while ago. I'm making the bow by doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle, taking some jute twine and tying it around the middle. I was struggling this day. I'll tell you guys, I was really struggling. I was going to do the thrift flip road trip, but you guys, like I said, I think I have crafter's block, like writer's block, but crafter's block, because I just could not get stuff together. I have plenty of thrifted stuff I could have made stuff with, but I just was struggling with coming up with any ideas or just feeling it. And I struggled with this one too. In fact, I thought I might be getting this out tomorrow night instead of today because I didn't know if I could get it all done in time. But I got up early this morning to finish it, and I'll have it done before 6 o'clock tonight when it goes live. But there it is. I love it. I think it is adorable. Yeah, and I love those flowers. It's so much fun. If you have Pinterest, check them out. There's all kinds of flowers you can make with Chanel stems. I just thought it was a lot of fun. Okay, here's DIY number 4. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this wood tag sign from Woodpecker's Craft, and I'm going to paint it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. And just a side note, guys, I do now have 5% off code for Woodpecker's Craft if you want to order anything through my link. You get 5% off. So just a little note there. But after it was painted, I took my antique wax and I distressed all around the edges, and then I distressed a little bit on the middle. And then I took this new decoupage medium. It's Deco Art. And I got this from Amazon, and I am just going to add this onto the front of my sign. And then I will I guess I'm still adding it. Now, I'm going to take this decoupage paper. I'm pretty sure I got this last year, but I think I got it from decoupagenapkin.com. It is so beautiful, and I cleaned my craft room the other day and I found it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot I had ordered this last year. So I knew I wanted to use it for this. So then after I had it added to my sign, I'm just going to go over it again with that new decoupage medium. Now with this decoupage party collaboration, there's a few rules. One, we have to at least make something without a Dollar Tree item. We have to use something other than Mod Podge. We have to use something other than wood. And what was the other thing? I'm trying to think. I'll come up with it. So I'm going to take some of these bamboo sticks that I get from Amazon, and I'm going to go over them with my antique wax. I'm just going to brush it on and then wipe off the excess. And then I'm going to take these silicone molds. I either got these from Kathy Jo or from Amazon, because I think she sent me some that I have something similar to. So I put some cornstarch in them, and then I'm just going to take some of my DOS air dry clay, and I'm going to fill up the little butterflies here. Now I had another mold that I end up making a few more. I decided to do a few more, so I just did the same thing. I just filled it all up until it was all full. I made sure and got around the edges, and then I'm just going to take them out of the molds. And after I had them out of the molds, I took my little X-Acto knife here and I'm just going to cut off all the excess that was around the edges there just to make it nice clean edges. After that, I took my Tight Bond multi-purpose quick and thick glue, and I am going to add that and hot glue to the back of my sticks and put them around my picture to make a little frame. Then I took this vintage tea rose, I think it was called, paint, and I'm going to use that color on some of the butterflies here. This was actually the next day. I let those sit overnight. And then I took some Lavender Sachet by Apple Barrel and Petunia Purple. And I painted all of those butterflies. And then I'm just using my Tite Bond multi-purpose glue there to glue them all just like I have them lined out. And then, sorry that my camera, I don't know what is wrong with the autofocus. It's so glitchy lately, and I don't know why and how to fix it. Anyways, I'm taking some of these ribbons. I think they all are from Dollar Tree. And I am just making a cross here. I'm just kind of alternating the colors back and forth. And then I'm just going to make a messy bow with them. And sorry, I'm laughing at Oliver over here. He was going to lay in his bed and something moved and he jumped up now. He doesn't know what to do. I'm going to tie it with some twine. I'm just going to tie a knot around this little bow. And then, oh, poor Oliver. And then after that, I'm going to trim it off, and then I am going to glue it to the top of my sign here on the corner. And then I took a paper flower from Hobby Lobby, and I just glued that in place, and there it is. I think this is gorgeous. Oh, a non-napkin was the other thing we have to do. So there's my non-napkin, my non-Dollar Tree item, and my non-Mod Podge items. So there's 3 of my must-use or rule, I don't know what you call it. Anyways, okay, here's DIY number 2. So I took one of these vases from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to paint it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And I did do, I think, 2 coats. And then after it was dry, I took this napkin. I believe I got this from decoupagenapkin.com. And I just put some double stick tape on my fingers so that I could remove those 2 plies because they weren't wanting to come off. And then I'm just going to fussy cut. Now, if you don't want to do all this cutting, you could always use the water on the paintbrush method where you just have a wet paintbrush and go around your image. I don't know why. For some reason, I just like using my scissors. I don't mind doing the brush with the water. But for some reason, I don't know. I just like using my scissors. So I am just going to cut out these pictures. Now, there on this napkin, it has like some gray lavenders, and I didn't use that part. I just wanted the colorful ones. So I'm going to cut that part out and just cut out or use the purple, lavender, and the butterflies that are on this napkin. And I did end up using one napkin has 4 squares, so I used like 2.5 squares. So I then used my paint bottles to hold my vase in place, and I'm putting Mod Podge. I used Mod Podge on this all over the napkin there, and then I had to do not layers, but different napkins, different parts of the napkins. So I'm just laying this in place, and then I'm using my saran wrap here to tap it all in place. As long as you make sure you don't have glue on the end of that saran wrap, this is a good way to get all the napkin adhered to that Mod Podge, and it does wrinkle a little bit. It's not as good as the heat press method, but it's still a really good way to get all those wrinkles out. Once I had my napkins on, I went over the napkins and actually the whole jar with my Mod Podge. And then I let it dry, and I guess I'm going to show you doing more. You can see that other piece of napkin sitting there. I do believe I added that one as well. but I'm not going to show you all of that. Then once it was dry, I took my Waverly Antique Wax and this chip brush, and I am just, as you can see, I got a little too much there, but I'm just doing a very, very light distressing. And if you don't like distressing, you know, and you want to do something like this, you don't have to do that part, but I do like a little distressing because it gives it a little rustic look. And that's what I like. So I'm just kind of going over everything, the white. And as you can see, I dip my brush in the lid and then I wipe it off on my little puppy pad there and just go over it so it's real light. Then I took some of this twine from Dollar Tree and I'm going to glue it to the bottom. And then I'm going to just start wrapping. And when I wrap, I make sure my twine goes on top of each wrap so that I don't have to keep gluing it. And I think I went around about 4 or 5 times. And then I made sure that when I ended at the same point where I started. And I just add a little dab of hot glue there for that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top. I'm going to start with a little dab of hot glue. But I do have to, because that lip is so thin, I did have to put a few dots of hot glue going around. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And I think I put one more little dab of hot glue, and then I will just start wrapping, making sure that my twine stays underneath the twine that's above it. And then I wrapped that, I think, about 4 times. And it stayed in place pretty well. So I didn't feel like I needed to do more hot glue until I got to the end here. And I'm just matching up where I started, and then I'm going to hot glue that end in place. And then I decided I'm going to make a finger bow. I'm going to make a 4-loop finger bow. So I'm going to go over both of my fingers 4 times, just like you see me doing here. I'm slowed this way down for you guys so you can see it. And then after I go over it the 4th time, I'm going to cut a long tail. And then I'm going to bring it up around those loops and come through my fingers up and through that loop and then pull very tightly. And as soon as I have it tight, then I'll take my fingers out, trim off the ends, and I'm going to glue this to the top of my little vase here. And then I took these lavender picks that I recently got at Walmart. I believe they were like 97 cents. And I'm going to put 2 in on the same size. And then this one, I'm just going to take my wire cutters and cut a little bit of the bottom off of it to make it shorter, and then it just kind of gives it a little more dimension. Dimension. And I stuck it in the middle there, and there it is. I love how this turned out. I think that napkin is so pretty. Oh, you have to tell me, let me know what you think about this one. It's late, you guys. I need to go to bed. Okay, I want to stop and thank you guys all. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to paint one of these 14-inch wood rounds that I get from Hobby Lobby. I paint it front and back. Once it was dry, I took this decal that I created. Actually, this is a stencil I created with my Cricut using some stencil vinyl, and I'm just going to lay it to the kind of the side middle part of my sign. I'm just going to pull off my transfer tape here very carefully. And then after I make sure there's no air bubbles and it's all smoothed out, I take my Waverly chalk paint in the color Agave. I'm going to go over all of the wording with that beautiful color. And then after I have that all painted in, guess I'm talking faster than I'm painting. I took my painter's tape here and I'm covering up the feet of those birds and the branches it was sticking on because I didn't want to get this paint on it. So for this bird, I'm using this is folk art. I think it's called Summer Porch. Kathy Jo sent it to me. And then I'm going to use this Pink Sky by Waverly for the other bird. And I'm not doing the beaks or the feet. Instead, I took a black Sharpie and I'm coloring in the beaks and I'm coloring in the legs and the feet. And then I'm going to take a very small paintbrush and I'm going to take Waverly chalk paint and the color Moss, and I'm going to paint in the branches there. just like you see. And then I'm going to pull off my stencil, and once I have the big pieces of this pulled off, I did dry it. I used my heat gun to dry it. And then once I'm going to get the last piece here, oh my goodness. Um, Once I had it all dry, then I took my little Cricut tool here, and I'm just going to pick out all the little small pieces that's inside of everything, including the little eyes on those little bird. I thought those birds were so cute. And then after I had that all picked off, I took these birdhouses from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint one with that summer porch, one with agave, and one with pink sky. When they were dry, I decided I want to put some flowers on the tops, and then I'm just going to, as you can see, I painted the top and the bottom of them white. And I went in on this one and put the pink sky in the middle, and then did dots with the yellow around the pink sky. But on the other two, I did yellow dots, and then I did the flowers around the yellow dots and made the colors coordinate with the colors of the birdhouse. And then I took my square ruler here, and I decided at the last minute I wanted to have some shiplap lines because I just felt like it needed something else. So yeah, I should have done this beforehand, but I wasn't thinking. This was just kind of one of those things. I had a picture in my mind, but wasn't quite sure how I wanted this to go. So this was one of those that was just kind of as I change things up as I went. So really carefully here was making those lines in between the letters, and yeah, whatever. Then after that, I took my finger, and I'm just going to go along and smudge those lines to give it more of a shiplap look. And I even did my fingers a little bit between those letters, just everywhere I could uh, smudge it, I did. Then I went ahead with my big mouth crocodile. Oh my goodness, I'm having a time tonight. I made some holes for hangers, and then I'm going to take my wood glue, and I'm going to take hot glue, and I'm going to glue those birdhouses in place just like you see where they're laid. And if I were to do this over again, or if you want to recreate this, I would suggest doing one birdhouse in the bottom middle and the other two, one on each side, because this makes it side heavy. So when I hang it, I have to hang it really carefully to get it to hang straight. And I should have known that would happen. I've done that before. Or I could have put another birdhouse or something on the other side to kind of help balance it. But that's my suggestion. So I just went ahead and glued each one of these birdhouses in place here. And after that, I decided, okay, I wanted some distressing. So I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral, and I went ahead and distressed all around the edge of my wood round. And then I went ahead and just did a little bit of that distressing along those shiplap lines. And after that, I took some of these flowers. This, I don't know what kind of flower it is. It's from Dollar Tree. And then these beautiful daisies. I got these, I think, last year from Dollar Tree, and I just love the colors. And I'm just going to kind of cut off the bottom part and then glue them right around that other flower. And that's all there was for this. I didn't do a bow. I felt like it didn't need a bow. Um, but I just love this. I think it is so adorable. Oh my goodness. I love those colors together too. You have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. In fact, those colors kind of remind me of an outfit I had in the 80s that I loved. It was one of my favorite outfits. Okay, here's DIY number 2. So I'm going to take some of these boards, 2 of these boards from Dollar Tree, these wood plank boards, and then 2 of these wall shelves from Dollar Tree. Now these are MDF, they're not wood, but the other ones are wood. This DIY is going to be kind of long, you guys, because there was a lot of steps in this, and this is basically 3 in 1. So I took those those MDF shells, and I'm measuring to the middle part there. And then I'm taking this ruler, and I am going to make lines to go diagonally from the top of the middle. And I did that on all of my boards, and then I had my husband cut them out for me. But before that, I cut these boards in the middle part because I was able to cut 2 out of 1. So anyways, I took the parts that had the angles, and I'm measuring 2 more of these boards against where the angle starts so that we could cut them off. Then I took some of these wood shelves from Dollar Tree and I did the exact same thing. I cut them down. I made a line there so I'd know where to cut them. And then I am going to mark again where the angle starts so that I knew to cut horizontally that way, and then the other way we cut vertically. I hope that makes sense. But I was just trying to cut those shelves down to match. Then I start putting everything together. So I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue, and I'm just going to use one of these boards from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue it to the back of my house shape. Then I'm going to take the other board, glue it to, I didn't glue it to the back. I glued it to the side, and I'm gluing it to the other side. And then after I had those all done, I took another board. I'm going to add some hot glue and wood glue to the side boards. Then I'm going to take the other house piece there, and I'm going to glue that to those side pieces. Oh, I hope that makes sense. And then once I was done with that, I did the exact same things with the little houses. Then I took 2 more of these wood shelves from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fill in all of the holes with my spackling because these are going to be the tops of my big birdhouse. And then I'm going to use some of these wood squares. They're kind of not really square. They're, well, anyways, I took these from Hobby Lobby. I took 4 of those and they were a little bit too wide. So I marked, it was a couple inches. I'm marking them with my ruler. Actually, what I did was just the width of my ruler. And I'm just going to cut them off like you see. And I traced the line and then I just scored it like 5 or 6 times. And then I was able to break it in half. These things are really pretty thin, so you really don't have to score them very much. And then I'm just going to use my wood glue and hot glue here, and I'm going to add them on the top for the top. And I'm so sorry that my camera keeps going in and out like that. I don't know why it's moving so glitchy. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know. Sorry this is not in frame, but I painted everything with my crimson color. And then I took these wooden dowels from Walmart. If you recreate this and make it as big as mine, you'd probably need about 4 of those bags. But I'm just taking them here and I'm measuring how long I need. Now for the big birdhouse, I could only take 1 dowel per slot that I was using. I couldn't use the other half because they were too small. But for the smaller birdhouses, I was able to pretty much cut them in half and use both halves. So that's the bigger one is what really took all the time and all of these dowels. So once I had them marked, I just went through and started cutting them all. Then I'm taking my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue. Because this doesn't run, I started out with this. I added it to my roof of my small, I did this on all of them, on all the roofs. Then I added the wood or the hot glue there, and then I just started adding my dowels. After that first one, I started using wood glue and hot glue. And of course, the wood glue is for the permanent hold, and the hot glue is for immediate hold. So that's why I use just a little dab for it to stick immediately while the rest of it is setting in. Once all of that was done, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral and painted all of the roofs with that. Then I went ahead with the sponge from Dollar Tree. I cut it up and I'm just I'm sponging on some of the black. Then I'm sponging on some of the Elephant by Waverly. And then I sponged on some more of the Mineral. And then I added a little bit more black and a little bit more Elephant until I had it looking the way I liked it and the way it made it look galvanized. Now, if you want to recreate this, you actually wouldn't have to do that part. You could even just add paper or cardboard or whatever to the top. There's all kinds of things you could add as the roof. Now I'm taking these, what are these? These are those bamboo sticks from Amazon. I have them in my Amazon store. I'm cutting them down. As you can see, I'm already made some for the smaller house. I did the bigger house, and I'm just kind of show you. Once I knew the sizes, I just took my miter shears there, and I'm
cutting at a 45-degree angle, and I'm just cutting them pieces so that I can make the door and the window, and we're just making the barn door. Once I had all my pieces cut out, I went over them with my antique wax. I just took a napkin, brushed them on, wiped off the excess, and then I'm taking my Titebond glue, the quick and thick, and I'm just gluing all of those pieces in place. I figured this stuff sets pretty quickly, and that's why it's called quick and thick. And it worked out great. I didn't have to use hot glue, and I didn't have to worry about them falling because I knew they'd be laying on their side for, a few minutes at least. So I'm just going to get all of this on there, and I did the bottom part too. Once I got the bottom part done, oh my goodness, there was something I was going to tell you guys about this. Now I can't remember what it was. I took another bigger piece and I'm just doing the middle part. And so I cut the end at an angle, and then I'm just kind of marking where I needed to cut. And then I cut it at another angle until I got it to fit into the right, or fit in because it was the right size. And then I took another piece, cut the top part at an angle, the bottom part straight, and then I did the other piece there too. Covered them with my antique wax and then glued them in place. Then I took this little ring that I had, and I'm just using it to make a little circle with my black Sharpie, and then I'm going to use my black paint and paint in the little hole to make this look like a birdhouse. I know what I was going to tell you. I got this inspiration from Hobby Lobby. I was there the other day, and they have a set of birdhouses like this, but theirs was gray and green, but it was so cute. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to make that. And it's normally like $42. Of course, it's 40% off. I probably spent more than the $22 that it ended up being, because of all those wood dowels. But still, you know what? I made it my own. I love it. I love the way this came out, and I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but I love it. So after I had the barn all done, I took 2 more of those boards. I had kind of cut them down to fit. I glued them together with wood glue and hot glue, painted them with Waverly chalk paint in the color mineral, and then I'm using wood glue and hot glue on the bottom of my houses, and I'm gluing them onto that base. After that, I took some of these little mini birds that I got from Amazon, and I'm just going to glue them on the little pegs. I think I showed you guys. I just took some little dowels, cut them down, painted them black, and glued them in place with hot glue, and there they are. Oh my gosh, I just love this. This is so dang cute. I wish I had a little bit bigger bird. would have stuck it on the top of one of those. Or you know what would have been really cute is a weather vane. Oh, I got to figure out how to make a weather vane. That would be adorable. You have to let me know what you think about that as well. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this little cutting board that I got on Valentine's Day at Hobby Lobby. It was on sale. And I painted the inside part of it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and then I painted the rest of it with the moss color. Once everything was dry, I took my Mod Podge here, and I am just going to go over that middle section that has been painted with my plaster. And then once I had it all brushed on, I just let it dry. And then I took this beautiful napkin I just recently got from decoupagenapkin.com. I'm trimming it down so that it fits inside that middle section of the cutting board. Once I had it all cut down, I took my parchment paper and my heat press, and I'm just going to go over that napkin, and that way the parchment paper protects the napkin. The heat press, the heat from it reactivates that Mod Podge so that it sticks. And then I went over it again with some more Mod Podge for that protective layer. And again, if you don't have a heat press, you can use an iron without the steam setting. And then I took some hot glue and put it right inside the crack there, and I took this braided jute cord I get from Amazon. It is in my Amazon store, and I'm just going to glue it into that little crevice that's in between. Well, you see it there. I'm taking my little spatula here and just kind of pressing it into the crevice so it really connects with that hot glue. And then after that, I'm just going to trim it off and kind of push it in, and that's all for that part. Then I went and I painted a couple of tumbling tower blocks from
Dollar Tree with that same moss color. I'm using my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue. I'm brushing it along, and then I'm like, wait, I need to connect these two. So I put a little bit there on the end, and then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue and connect the two together. And then I'll add a little bit of hot glue and so that I can connect this to my breadboard. And once I have that on there, I'm going to take this ribbon and our twine. I'm going to make a 4-loop finger bow, and I'm just going around my fingers like you see, and I go around them 4 times. I'm going to cut a long tail, and then I'm going to take that and wrap it around those the middle of my finger there, come through my fingers and up around and through the hole or the loop that I made around the ones on my fingers. I hope that makes sense. And then I just pull really tightly. After that, I'm going to trim off the legs, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the top of my breadboard. And I thought about doing some distressing on this, but I kept looking at it, and it was making my eyes happy. So I just left it the way it is. And look at how beautiful and high end that looks. I mean, honestly, it looks like something you could find at Hobby Lobby. I absolutely love that one. Okay, DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I took this wood round from Dollar Tree and I gave it 2 coatings, I think, of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Maize. Then I created some stripes with my painter's tape, and I have these little ovals from Hobby Lobby that I painted, one with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink and 2 of them with Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I then took I think this is one of my glue sticks, and one of my white paint markers, and I am tracing out my glue stick to make 2 circles, and this is on the black oval that I painted. And then I'm using that same paint marker to color in the eyes, but it wasn't working too well. I don't know what was going on. So I ended up just getting my paint out and just going over all of that with my white chalk paint. After that, I took my red chalk paint, Crimson by Waverly, and I'm using a very small paintbrush, and I'm just making kind of like an oval for a nose. And if you haven't been able to tell, this is going to be a bee. I took my white marker and I am creating the mouth, and then I wanted to make some little more circles inside the eyes with black. So I took a smaller little tube of glue, I don't even know where that came from, that I had in a Sharpie to trace it out, and then I'm using my black paint marker to color it in. I did end up adding a little dot of white in the eyes too. Then I used that little glue thingy and some pink marker, but I didn't like that color, that was too bright. So I took this paint that I had here and I went ahead and painted over that and painted in some cheek colors for my little face here. And now this idea I got from Pinterest. I saw a wood round that someone's selling on Etsy that kind of looks like this. So I did copy the face off of there, but everything else is different, is my own take on it. But I took the white ovals and I made some little stitch lines around them, and then I'm using my wood glue and hot glue, and I am gluing these onto the, well, yeah, that's the face. I'm gluing that onto the bottom here, okay? So the wood round is the body. Oh, and there's my Oliver. And I am taking these white ones are the wings, and then of course we have the face down on the bottom. Now the one on Pinterest was all painted in, but yeah, I thought it would be fun to do more like a 3D effect. So I did that, and then I made some little antennas for the bee. And then I made a few little just black polka dots. Now, as I was doing this, I got more inspired and wanted to do something even more different. So I took these little wood planks from Dollar Tree. I painted them both with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Maize. I then created these stencils with my Cricut, and I'm going over them with my chalk paint,
my Waverly chalk paint and the color ink. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, you could still create this. You can use stickers. On my last video, I showed how to do reverse stenciling with Dollar Tree stickers. You can use a stencil. Uh, I know Dollar Tree has alphabet stencils. You could use those. You could get alphabet stencils at any craft store. And again, you could use stickers. You could do many things. You could even just write it if you wanted. But I'm going to remove my stencil here. And then I had created a stencil for the wood sign as well. And I'm going over this one with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then I'm going to remove that stencil and dry it, and then I remove the stuff that's in the middle. Then I used my painter's tape because I wanted to make 2 stripes on the ends of this, and the stripes are 1/2 inch and wide and 1/2 inch apart. So my painter's tape was 1 inch, so I kind of had to do this in steps. So I painted the first stripes, dried it, and then I used my ruler here to make sure my tape was even, and then I made another stripe a 1/2 inch away from where that stripe was, and then I'm just measuring, making sure it's a 1/2 inch there and that it's even. It wasn't, so I adjusted it. Now it's even, and then I'm just gonna paint it again, and then dry it after that. I'll remove the tape and dry it, but I did this on both of these little signs. And then this, I glued my ribbons. I did end up having to use my heat gun to release that glue and change it because it was crooked. After I hung it, I realized it was crooked. But I am just going to glue those signs onto my ribbons. So when I redid it, I did it with it facing me so I could see. And I moved those ribbon pieces in closer together so they weren't so far apart. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyways, I'm just going to glue my signs or glue the ribbon to the back of my signs. And then I dovetailed the ends of the ribbon. And you guys, this thing is so adorable. I absolutely love this. In fact, I'm thinking I might put this in on the front of my guest room door because I think it would be so cute. But I just love this. This is just so adorable. You'll have to see it. Anyways, what did I do when I get done with this? I thought this. Oh, I have to add a hanger. So I just used some. I have some more of that ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just poking it through. I had to put tape on the end, of course, and then poke it through the holes, and then tie my knots, get it to the length that I wanted, cut off the excess and tie the other knot, and we have a hanger that matches the bottom, and I just think it's adorable. Look at how cute that is. Oh my goodness, I can't get over it. It is so adorable. You have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, I want to too. So I took this book stack from Dollar Tree. I've had it in my stash for a while, and I thought this was all painted on. And I realized, no, this is all paper. So I'm going to just remove the paper like I normally do, spritz it down with water, and then scrape it off. Now, I've had a few people ask me why I don't just paint over that paper. You could definitely do that. I've seen some creators do that. I like my stuff to be um, a clear slate, I guess you could say, because I don't know, I might end up selling this stuff one day if I can figure it out. And if not, give it away. And I want my stuff to look good, like it's been purchased somewhere. I don't want it to peel off because that's what I worry about. And a lot of times with Dollar Tree stuff, their papers overlapping the edge, and you can easily tear it off. So that's just the way why I do that. As you can see, I kind of broke it. It kind of fell apart on me, so I added some multi-purpose glue and hot glue there to put it back together, and then I painted it with my maze. I created this decal with my Cricut, and I'm just going to add it to this side of my book stack. And yeah. Anyways, once I get this all on, it says, "Don't worry, be happy." I'm going to do something else that I saw something like this. It wasn't on a book stack with this bee on Pinterest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest idea. So in the meantime, I went ahead with a small brush here and going through the edges with the black, because when I painted it, it was all yellow and it didn't really look as much like a Bookstack. So I took one of these bees. I think I got these from Michael's, and I'm filling in the hole, and then I'm going to paint them. And I'm painting the stripes with my ink, and then I'm going to, this was kind of challenging. I remembered as I got this is why I didn't like these bees, because they're just kind of weird with the stripes. But I just went with it. I'm going to paint the middle part of my bee with my yellow. And then I am going to paint the wings white. And I guess I'm going to sit here and show you all of my painting so that you can see how I did it. But honestly, I feel like I don't know. There's something different with it than with your normal bees, but I still think it came out really cute. So anyways, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to paint the wings white, and I'm trying to be very careful here so that because I didn't tape anything down. I did paint the antennas with my black, and then after it was all dry, you'll see me next. I'm going to paint a face, so I'm giving it 2 little white eyes, and then I am going to make a little nose and a mouth with the Sharpie. And then I took my Sharpie and I just kind of traced out where the white and the yellow met. I just thought it kind of brought it to life a little bit more. And then I went ahead and made some little stitch lines around the wings. I was just trying everything I could to just kind of bring it to life a little bit more. And yeah, I put some black dots in the eyes, made a few little eyebrows. I just kind of kept playing around with it until I got it to where I thought it was decent. So I have this 16 gauge wire. I think I got this like at Lowe's or Home Depot. I cut some of it off just using my wire cutters. I'm using my little pokey tool here to poke a little hole in the top of this. And then I'm going to wrap that wire. I should have made it a little longer because in my mind I wanted it to be curled more, but it's still, this thing is so cute, you guys. So I curled it, and then I had to kind of straighten the bottom part of it so it could stand up a little. And then I'm going to poke it in my hole. And then I was like, okay, how am I going to get this to stay in the hole? How am I going to get this to stand and not just lean over? So I took my hot glue here, and I am just going to kind of hold it in place with that hot glue. And then I added hot glue to the back of my bee, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work because metal and hot glue don't usually work well together, but I just covered it with the hot glue, and then I added that little ribbon piece to it. And then I am going to take some of this honeycomb ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think I still see it every once in a while there, so you might check it if you're looking for it. And I'm just going to glue this around my book stack. And then I'm going to take the ribbon that came off of it, and I'm just going to kind of glue it on the sides a little bit just to keep it straight and tight, because I'm going to tie this a bow, and it was loose, and if you saw how it just came off at the very beginning, it was that loose, so I didn't want it to fall off, so I just kind of tacked it down with a little bit of hot glue. And then I'm just going to make a little bow here. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so cute. I just love that little bee, even though I think he kind of looks like a Twinkie. A Twinkie with wings, but it's so cute. I took some daisies here, and I'm just gonna glue them around where that wire goes into my little book stack here. And oh, you guys, I just love this. It's so cute. Now, the original piece that I saw on Pinterest, this was coming out of a wood piece that had blocks that said Buzz, and I just thought having this bee flying off of the book would be so adorable, and I just love this. And look how cute that is. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, it is a time for celebration. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So I'm going to take 8 5-gallon paint stir sticks, and I'm going to put them together using my giant craft sticks from
they're the jumbo craft sticks from Walmart. And then I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue to attach them all. Now, those 5-gallon paint stir sticks you can get at a Home Depot or Lowe's. Sometimes you can find them at Walmart. I got these off of Amazon. They are in my Amazon store if you're interested in purchasing them that way. But these craft sticks, I actually had cut the tops off of them in a previous DIY. So I painted the whole thing with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then when I was done and it was dry, I took my elephant chalk paint by Waverly and I went ahead and distressed all around the edge of my sign here. And then I went ahead and did a little distressing along the where each one was connected there. And then I do go through the middle of those sticks too. I just kind of did a little bit of distressing everywhere because I like rustic, right? I like distressing. I took this page from this calendar, from this 2024 calendar, and I'm taking my bamboo sticks. These I also have in my Amazon store, and I am just cutting them down with my miter shears to create a frame. And I'm just using that one there to mark it, and then I will cut the tops and bottom ones as well. Once I had them all cut, I am painting them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant. Then I take my pencil here and I'm just marking lines to where my picture is going to lay. And then I don't know why I didn't use Mod Podge, but I decided to use the tacky glue this time, and I just went all the way around it. And then I'm going to lay my calendar in place. And I think I was thinking I didn't need Mod Podge. I don't know, because I'm going to put the frame thing over it. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's what I did. You could use whatever glue you feel would work best for you. So I took my Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue here, and I'm brushing it on, and I'm going to use hot glue as well to attach my frames together. I'm using a paintbrush because I lost the cap to my Tight Bond glue, and I just got like some plastic wrap around the top of it, and I think it has made it a little harder to squeeze out the bottle. So after I had this all framed in, I'm going to take this ribbon. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. It's in the spring section, so it's 40% off right now. I am going to weave it in and out of the top parts of my stir sticks here. And then once I had it, I turned it over, and then I just kind of pull on them to make it a little tighter. It was a little loose, and so I wanted to make sure it was snug there. So I'm trimming off the excess here like you see, and then I'm just going to kind of pull tight, and then I'm going to use my hot glue and glue those to the back there. After that, what do? I took the rest of this ribbon and I'm making my bow, my awareness ribbon bow, scrunch it up in the middle, and then take some twine to wrap around the middle and hold it tight. And you can make any kind of bow. You could do this without a bow. It's all up to you if you recreate this how you want to make it your own. This bow is simple for me and easy for me to make, and I like the way it looks, so that's one of the reasons why I do it like this all the time. I'm going to dovetail the ends by folding them in half and then cutting at an angle. Then I took some half beads, and these were already painted white, and I'm going to put them all around the corner of my frame. Now, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the top stick there is a little crooked, and that is because apparently I cut it a little tad too long, and when I went to go lay it down, I couldn't get it in between the two side sticks, and it was already set and I couldn't move it. So I thought, well, if I put these little half beads there, that might help kind of hide it a little bit, and then it still looks decorative as well. So after I glued my bow on, I took some of this raffia and I am making another bow with it. I just took a handful of it and just made a bow. I'm going to cut off all that excess so that it doesn't look so wild, and then I'm going to glue that right in front of my bow. And then I took this twine. I made a loop, and then I'm going to tie the ends around my finger to make a knot. So that way I have kind of a little loopy hanger, I guess you could call it. And once I had it done, I'm going to trim off that excess and use my stapler to staple it in place because I'm going over one of those painter sticks or craft sticks. It was thick enough for me to staple it so it didn't go through. And there it is. I love how this turned out. I think it is so farmhouse and so cute. I love that picture. You'll have to let me know what you think about that in the comment box below. So for this DIY, I'm going to take, oh, you guys, I have to apologize. I was outside recording Oliver and I zoomed my camera way in and I forgot to unzoom it and look at it. It's so close. You can't see what I'm doing. And I'm so sorry. But what I'm doing is I took the Dollar Tree wood planks that come in the package. There's like 6 in a package. And I'm going to pretty much create a box. Now, one of these, I cut the bottom of it, like I think it was an inch off. But I'm just using my Quick Bond, Tight Bond, quick and thick multi-purpose glue, and I'm just putting it along the edges, and then I'm just laying the sides on top of the back, and then the front has the shorter piece. I will glue the front onto the side pieces, and I really hope I explain that well enough for you to understand without being able to see it. But it basically, you're just creating a box. And then after that, I took 2 of these wood square pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm taking these huge scissors that I just got from Harbor Freight Tools. Kathy Joe told me about these and I had to try them, and they were cutting through, but it was really, really hard. So I just ended up taking my box cutter. And if you don't have those big scissors, you can always use the box cutter here. I had created a line and cut along that line. Then I'm just taking my little sanding block here and sanding off the edge. Then I painted that teapot, came from Woodpecker's Craft, and I painted the box and those two of those wood squares with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Now the wood squares, I only cut one of them down. The other one I left the same size. So I created this decal. No, I did not create this. I got this from Cricut Design Space and I made it on my stencil vinyl. And then I'm taking my Waverly chalk paint in the color lavender and I'm just going to go over the little stencil with this. I love this scene. I think it is so cute. And I had this idea and I was so excited to start working on this, and I am so bummed that you couldn't see the way I created that box because it's a lot of fun. But anyways, okay, so I'm going to remove my stencil vinyl, and then I dried it, and once it was dry, I went in with my little Cricut tool, and I am just picking out all the little pieces that go in the middle. I don't like to do it when it's wet because then I get paint on the inside of my letters or inside those areas. So then I had taken a pencil and I just traced around the top, the lid, so it kind of gives it a little more of a definition. And then I took a very small paintbrush and I went over that with that lavender color. And you guys, I have this really sped up. That's how slow I was going doing this. And then when I was done, I painted the little knob front and back. And then I took this little finial cap. I painted it white and then I was just painting some of it with the lavender, but I end up just going over the whole thing with lavender at the end. And then I took the back of my small paintbrush and I'm just going to do polka dots all the way around the rest of my teapot here. And then once that was dry, I took that little paintbrush that I was using. I painted all around the outside edge of my teapot. And then I just kind of traced along the top, the bottom, the edge, the top part of the edge with it so that you could see it from the front. And I did that also on the box that I created, as well as the squares, which one's the lid and one's the bottom. So here, this is the smaller square piece that I had cut, and I'm just finding the center, and then I'm tracing my finial cap on it, and I'm going to put the wood glue, or not wood glue, the Tite Bond quick and thick multi-purpose glue, and then I'm going to put my finial cap there. And then I'm going to use that same Tite Bond glue and go all around middle of the front of my box. And I'm just going to use that for the permanent hold. And then I'm going to use my hot glue all around the edge for the immediate hold. And then I'm just going to add my teapot right to the front, making sure the bottom lined up to the box. Then I went ahead with some more of my Titebond glue all around the bottom of the box here, and I'm going to glue it. You can tell I traced it out onto that other square piece, that other square wood piece. Then I just filled it up with some of my favorite tea. You could do this for a grandmother, a friend, a mother, anybody that likes to drink tea. And I just put the lid back on it, and there it is. Look how adorable that is. Isn't that fun? And what a fun way to have that in their kitchen. I just love it. I hope you love it too. You have to let me know in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take 2 of these pizza pans from Dollar Tree. I'm going to do a little sanding over all of them, front and back, sides, trims, rims, whatever, the whole thing. And then I wipe it off really well with a baby wipe and dry it. And once I had it all done, I took one of them and I'm going to bend it. Now, when you bend it, you don't want to go more, you don't want to go halfway. You want to do more about a quarter of the way, a third of the way down, something like that. Then I took the one that's not bent and I painted the back of it with my crimson color by Waverly. And then I am taking my white chalk paint here by Waverly and I am painting the front of it just about the same length as the bent one. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's just going to be probably the top third of my pan that I painted. Then I took the bent one and I painted it, just this side of it, with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. After it was all dry, I took my painter's tape here and I'm just going to lay it down. I'm using that little piece there as a spacer so that my lines are even. And then once I have all the lines or all the tape placed on there, I'm going to paint it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson. And there you go. So I'm painting of course, the stuff that doesn't have tape on it with my crimson color. And then I will let it dry. I did have a little bit of bleed through on a few spots, but you just take a little brush with some of your background paint and just kind of touch it up and it looks great. So just finishing up here, and then I'm going to remove all of those painter's tape. I did remove it while it was wet. And then I dried it. And then once it was dry, I took this Deco Americana. It's navy blue paint. And I'm going to paint the bent side that I had painted white. I'm going to paint that with that navy color. Now, the reason why I painted it white first is because this is acrylic paint. And I think it shows better when you paint over some white. Then I wanted to make some stars. Now, I had this stencil. I got this, I think, from Temu. And because it doesn't lay flat because of that lip, I decided to go ahead and take my white paint marker from Dollar Tree. And I'm just tracing out those stars all around the bent area of my pizza pan. Then I took a small paintbrush and my white paint and went over it. Now you could leave it with just the marker if you wanted, but it wasn't very bright. So I wanted it to be a little bit brighter. So that's why I went over it with my paintbrush. Then I took some Fix-All glue and I'm going to just go all the way around the rim that is not painted here of the full pizza pan. And I was running low on that one. I had to switch it out for a new one here. Once I was done, I'm going to take my other pizza pan and I'm going to add it just like that. Look how cute that is. Now, I wish I could say this is my original idea. It's not. I did see this on Pinterest like last year and I loved it and I wanted to make it. So I decided I was going to make it this year. So I just clamped it down with some of my clamps there from Dollar Tree and waited overnight. And then I'm taking my big mouth crocodile and making a couple holes for a hanger. And then I took some twine, and I got these beads last year from Amazon. I do believe they're in my Amazon store, but they are so cute, and I just thought they'd be so much fun as a hanger on this. So I'm just stringing them through to make my hanger, and then of course I'll string my twine through the holes and tie knots on the back. And then I'm just going to fill up my planter here. And I'm just going to use some boxwood greenery. I love this stuff. This comes from Walmart. It's my favorite greenery. And I'm just going to fill it up. I used like 1.5 picks. I don't even think that one was completely full either. So maybe it might have been more like 1 pick. And then I had these flowers. Now I got these when I started my channel, the summer after I started my channel, from Dollar Tree. I don't know if they still have them or not, but I haven't been using them. I thought, okay, this would be a perfect time to use these. So I'm just going to fill them up with those flowers, and then some of the long glittery things. I don't even know what you would call those. I'm going to call them planter fillers. And I'm just going to fill that in with amongst the greenery, and that's all there was. Look how cute that is. I love it. You could hang it in the house. You could hang it on a door. I think it would be a great door hanger. I just love it. Yeah, well, let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, today is the first. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this honeycomb wreath form from Dollar Tree. I laid it out on some foam board and traced it out, and then I'm using my X-Acto knife to cut this out. Now the secret to cutting these things out is using a very sharp blade. Otherwise it will break apart on you. After that, I took my tacky glue and this cool brush that Kathy Jo bought me for my birthday, Kathy Jo with Kathy Jo DIY, and I'm smearing the glue around, and I'm just going to lay this burlap over it and just kind of rub it all in so it adheres to that adhesive. Once I had that covered, I took some twine. Now I got this twine from Walmart. It's a size 4, I think it is. And I love this one. I get this a lot because I love the thickness of it. And I'm just going to wrap the whole wreath form all the way around. And luckily, it did not take me as long as I thought it was going to take. Then I just used my hot glue to glue that on to the fabric and the foam board. Once that was all done, and you do want to be careful because, foam board does kind of melt with that hot glue. But once I was done, I took some more hot glue here, and this trim Kathy Jo also sent to me. So I decided to go ahead and use it to wrap around the edges so that you didn't see that foam board. Then I took this bee wreath form, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to wrap it with that twine, and you might have seen my ladybug video that I had a few weeks ago, and I did this with yarn, but for some reason the twine went faster than the yarn. I don't think it got knotted up as easy. So I found this eyelet material at Dollar Tree recently, and I'm going to use this for the wings. So I cut it out, and I'm just going to glue it on to the back side of the wings, and then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim off the excess fabric. After that, I took some of this burlap from Dollar Tree and I cut it down to fit, and it was just a tad short on the top, but you really can't notice. But anyways, I'm going to do the same thing. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hot glue it all the way around the back side of my bee. Then I also had some black fabric. I used this on my ladybug, and I'm just going to use that for the head as well. Then I took some of this ribbon. I got all of these ribbons from Sam's Club. The bee ones I got this year, the black check ones I bought a year or so ago, and there's so much of it, so I have extra. Anyways, I'm gonna just make a fussy bow, and I'm just crinkling them up in the middle. I think I cut them down to 6 inches maybe, and putting them all together, and then gonna tie some twine around them to hold them in place. I'm going to make 2 of these bows, and then I'm going to take one, I'm going to put it right under the bee's head. I'm going to add a little sunflower to the front, and then I took this huge sunflower. I got this last year at Dollar Tree, can you believe it? And I'm going to glue it to the front of my hive and add the other bow to the bottom, and then I'm going to glue these together. I'm going to glue the bee frame on top of the honeycomb frame, and there it is. And then I hated using hot glue on this part, but I couldn't think of another way to attach a hanger. But I don't know if that's really the best way to do it, but that's what I did for the video. So there it is. I love how this turned out. You have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. So I am going to take one of these wood fence pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the hanger from it. I'm using a little pick tool, I guess. I don't know what you call it. I call it a pokey tool. And then I painted the fence white. I'm going to paint a little birdhouse from Dollar Tree with maize, and then that wood plaque. And that wood piece came from, I believe, a Dollar General tomato stake. And I painted those with my ink color, which is black. Then I'm using some paper, some adorable paper from Hobby Lobby. I traced the roof of my birdhouse out and cut those pieces out. And then I'm going to add Mod Podge all over the top part of my birdhouse, the roof. And I got a little too much there, but, and then I let it dry. And then while it was drying, I took 2 tumbling tower blocks, I glued them together end to end, and then I went over them with white chalk paint. Then once my Mod Podge was dry, I added my paper, and I'm going to cover it with parchment paper to protect the paper from my heat press. Go over it with the heat press so it reactivates that Mod Podge. And I'm going to do the other side here. Same thing. You don't have to have that heat press on very long, just, you know, kind of go over it just a few times, and voila, you should be done. And then I'm going to go over it again with Mod Podge to help protect that paper. Then I will set it aside to dry. And while it was drying, I took my fence and I'm going to glue my tumbling tower blocks to the back of it, just like that. And then I'm going to use some wood glue and hot glue. Kathy Jo also gave me that glue dot for, or glue bot for my birthday. Thank you, Kathy Jo. And then I'm going to use that wood glue and hot glue on the bottom of this wood piece and glue it right next to that fence. And then I'm going to add some more wood glue and hot glue to the top of the wood piece, and I'm going to add my birdhouse to it. And you say birdhouse, I thought this video was about bees. It is. It's going to be a bee house. I'm going to take some of these resin bees from Amazon, and I'm going to hot glue some bees going up my post that the birdhouse or the bee house is sitting on. And who says they have to have a hive, right? Can't they make a birdhouse into a bee house instead? Oh my goodness. Okay. And then I decided to just kind of take some of those bees and just put them everywhere so that it looks like, you know, we have bees trying to get in the house, or this is where they live. And I'm going to add one right to the heart there. As you can see, I went around the heart with my black, and I painted the bottom of the house with the black. I'm going to make some fly lines there as well, and then I'm going to do it on the fence where I added my bees. I just love the fly lines, bee lines, whatever you call them. And I just think they are so cute. But after I got done with that one, I'm like, that kind of looks like an A. Anyways, I took some floral foam, and glued it to the behind my fence. And I'm just going to take some of these sunflowers that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to poke them in, and then I'm going to add a little hot glue and floral moss. Actually, I think this is Spanish moss that's green instead of brown. I got this from Hobby Lobby, and I wanted to cover that floral foam. And then I add a little to the front, and I'm going to add some of my sunflowers to the front. This is so cute. I love this. And then added a bee to the middle of my sunflower, and look how cute that is. Oh my goodness. Oh, all I can say is it's adorable. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well in the comment box below. Okay, so I took 3 of the wood hanging planks, and I'm putting them together using my giant craft sticks from Walmart. And of course, I use wood glue and hot glue to attach all of them. Then I'm going to, I guess I'm going to show you me doing it again. One thing to note, I put the wood glue in the middle and the hot glue on the ends, because I have found in the past when I just put hot glue on one side and glue on the other side, that the wood glue one side would curl up when I painted it.
Just a tip. Anyways, once I was done, I turned it around and I am just using my ruler here to make a square on the left hand corner. Then I'm using my painter's tape here. I'm using that one piece as a spacer, but I don't know what I was doing wrong. I kept having to use my ruler to measure it because it kept looking crooked. Anyways, I'm making stripes. So I just did that all the way down the board, and then I'm going to paint the stripes, the open areas red. I removed the tape once it was dry, added more tape over the red and painted it white. Then I'm taking this navy color. It's by Deco Art or Americana. I don't know, a deco art. Anyways, I'm going to paint that square. And if you can't tell by now, we are making a US flag. So I'm just going to paint this. I love that color. It's such a beautiful navy deep color. And then after I have this all painted and dried, I'm going to, I'm going to move on here. Okay, I'm going to remove my tape. I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to take this stencil. Now, I can't remember if I got this stencil from Amazon last year or if I got it from Temu, but I'm just taking my white chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm just going to pounce all around the stars. And then, and then I will remove my stencil and dry it all. It's really, to make the flag is really pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of time, not a whole lot, especially it takes a little time if you can't measure like me. Anyways, once I was done with that, I took one of these wood pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it with my navy color. Now, I saw online a sign like this at Walmart. Now, I don't know if Walmart has this sign still or if this was an old sign, but I thought it was such a great idea. I wanted to recreate it. So I printed out, now I typed out the Pledge of Allegiance, and you guys, this was a booger to weed. I don't know why I do this to myself. I do it to myself all the time, but oh my goodness, it took me all day long to weed it. It was crazy, but I am just adding this to my wood piece now. When I was pulling off the backing, this part stayed on the backing, and I didn't want to try and fix it, so I just decided to add it by itself. So once I finally had it all on there, I took a sigh of relief, and then I took my wood glue and my hot glue. I'm putting it on the back of my sign here, and I'm just going to lay this in front of my flag, just on top of it, I should say, just like that. Now you could leave it just like that if you want, but you know me, I like rustic look, and I like the kind of more old Americana look. So I'm just going to take my wax here and my paper towel. Now, I should have done this before I added my sign, but I like to make things harder for myself. So I just went around and just kind of put that wax everywhere to give it that older look. Then I took some of my braided jute cord that I get from Amazon, and I'm just going to outline my sign with it. I'm just going to wrap it around it. I'm just using hot glue. And then I took some of these little stars. I got these recently from Amazon. It came in a whole bunch of different sizes, and I'm just going to glue. I painted them white, and then I'm going to glue one on each side of my sign. Then I decided, okay, this wood is too thin to use a stapler to hang it, and I took another piece of the jumbo craft sticks or giant craft sticks, painted it red. I didn't have the ends on it from a previous project. And then I'm just using that to thicken the back so I can staple my hanger in there. And there it is. I love how this came out. I just think it is just, what a great idea, huh? Have the Pledge of Allegiance on the flag. And number 2, I will have links to all of them in my description box, by the way. Okay, I'm going to take this wood shelf from Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and then wait till you hear what happened. Oh no. Oh no, I put it on the wrong side. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. In the words of Kathy Jo. Oh, can't believe I did that.
hope it's just that one area that's got the paper stuck to it. This is why it's a good idea to mark which is the correct side. And I'm going to do that now. Oh, good. Just that one area. Oh, no. Okay, where's my pen? Okay. Oh. Let's see, will this work? Oh, I did it on this one too. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So once I got them all on there, I am going to take my chalk paste in the color Cherry and Moonlight Shimmer Moonlight. Is that what it said? I'm going to put them on my Chalk Couture transfer. Now, if you're not familiar with Chalk Couture, it is a self-adhesive silk screen transfer, aka stencil, and I am going over the America part with the blue and then the bottom part with the red. And I am a designer with the company, and so if you are ever interested in trying it out, I do have links in my description box for it. You can check out my page or you can email me with questions. So once I was done, I went and washed off my transfers, and then I got these wood dowels that I got from Walmart. I took out 5. I'm cutting 2 of them down. I cut off about 2 inches, a little over 2 inches. Then I'm going to paint a star and a heart with my crimson, a star and a heart with that moonlight blue color, and then a star, those dowels, and a 12-inch wood plank from Dollar Tree with the plaster. Once it was all dry, I took my wood glue here. I'm going along the back of that wood piece, and then I'm going to use my hot glue to go around that again for the immediate hold. Now, when I did this, as I was gluing it onto the back of my sign, I went, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done this yet because I want to drill holes in it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I took wood glue here. I'm going down the middle of my star, and I'm going to add my little dowel to the back, just like you see. Then, because I didn't want to wait, and I had company coming and I needed to get this done, I wiped off any excess of that wood glue, and then I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to run a bead of hot glue along each side of the dowel just to hold it there in place while that hot glue was curing. And I did that on each one of my pieces here. I just went down the middle with the wood glue, add my dowel piece, wipe off any excess, and then go over each side with my hot glue. And it stuck really well. It worked well. So once I have that all done, I'm going to try to make my holes. Now, if you want to recreate this and if you have a drill and you're going to do holes, do this before you glue it on, because my drill was kept hitting the back of the sign and was making it kind of hard, and I couldn't really get it as deep as I wanted because of that. So I'm drilling my holes. If you don't have a drill, you could just glue them on. You could even glue it to the back of the sign. And I'm going to fill each one of my holes with a little bit of wood glue, and then I'm going to push each dowel down in it. So that way the wood glue does help keep it, holding it in place. And then after I had that, all of those in there, I was struggling with that one. Then I turned it around and I took some of this ribbon again from Hobby Lobby. And again, I should have done this before I added that wood piece to the back, because then I would have had a flat surface to glue it to. I wasn't thinking ahead. Like I said, I had company coming and I was trying to get this done. It's been a whirlwind of a time for the last week and a half, and we have another week and a half left of our grandsons being here. I'm having a fun time, but I am not old. I am too old for this now. But anyways, once I had those ribbons glued on each side, I took some of this twine and I'm just tying some little bows around each one. I'm coordinating the color of the twine with the color of the heart or star. And so I use the red, the blue, and then I have the cream
tan and white color. And that's all there was for this. I absolutely love how this came out. I just love it. I hope you do too. You have to let me know in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 3. So our must-use items this month is a paintbrush, and I picked that. A dog leash that Robin picked, and then a hula skirt that Kathy Jo picked. So you can tell, I don't know what you can tell. But anyways, I took this 12 by 12 wood piece that I got from Woodpecker's Craft, and then I printed out with my Cricut, or cut out with my Cricut, kite shape. And then I traced it out, cut it out with my miter saw. And then I am going to use my painter's tape to go along the top part there. I'm going to paint the top with that midnight blue, and then the bottom with my plaster color. And then I'm going to take my stencil once they're dry. I'm taking my star stencil. Now, I think I got this from Temu last year, but I might have ordered it from Amazon. I know you can get them on Amazon, but anyways, I'm going to go over this stencil with my plaster paint until the whole top part is filled with little stars. And then once that was done, I washed off my little stencil there and dried my stars. And then I'm going to use that little small piece of painter's tape as a spacer. And I'm going to use the painter's tape to create some lines. So I'll just use that little piece to go in between each piece of tape, so that way I can have an even set of lines. So once I have all of them done, I just go all the way across the bottom. And once it was all done, then I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson, and I'm going to paint each area with that red color. And then I'm going to remove all my painter's tape and do it very carefully, trying not to get red paint all over my fingers, because I've done that before where I get red paint or paint on my fingers, and then I get it on my surface that I'm using. But once I had it all dry, I took my Waverly antique wax. I just wanted to antique it, so I have a baby wipe, I believe, and I'm just wiping it lightly. I did start seeing that some of the red was kind of bleeding when I did this, and I just thought, yeah, it's okay, because it gives it more of that old antique-ish primitive look. So then I took some of the stars from that set of stars that I got and some hearts that I have on hand. I'm painting the stars with my metallic gold, and then I'm going to paint, I guess I'm going to continue painting my stars. They're not done yet. And then I'm going to paint my hearts with my crimson color and then let them all dry. And once they were dry, I don't remember what I did, so I have to wait. There we go. I took the dog leash. I'm like, what am I going to do with this dog leash? I'm like, okay. So I took it, I trimmed it. Now this stuff sheds really easily on the ends. So I'm just going to cover the ends with some hot glue, just so that it doesn't fray very easily. And then I'm going to use my hot glue to glue this all along the border there. And I did this off camera, but I did take some antique wax and go over the white part of this leash, because I didn't want it to pop out as much. So I did kind of color it in with some antique wax. And then I'm going to glue my stars and hearts in place, just like you see me doing there. Then I took the hula skirt and I took a piece off of it, and I'm going to glue it to the front, and I'm going to tie the twine around the back. I don't know why I did that way. I guess I was thinking be better, just more protection than glue, since it's just hot glue that we're using here. But yeah, I don't know. You could, if you recreate this, you could probably just cut off the twine and just glue it. So, but I would recommend using a more permanent glue, not hot glue, so it doesn't melt if you have it hanging on your front door. But I'm going to add a little dab of hot glue on the back as well. And then I'm going to add some hot glue for my bow. And then after that, I'm going to add a hanger, but I'm not going to add it at the top. I'm adding it to the side. I wanted it to hang kind of sideways. So I'm just going to staple it in because that wood is thick enough for these staples. And that's all there is for this one, I believe. Is this all there is? Is there something else? No, there is something else. Oh my goodness. I had this sign. This came from Hobby Lobby. It comes in a little package with like 3 different words or 4 different words. I don't know, 6 different words, I think. Whatever. It's late, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Tight Bond Quick and Thick Multi-Purpose Glue and hot glue. And I'm going to glue that to the front of my sign. It just says America. And there it is. I love this. I think it is so stinking adorable. Oh my goodness. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well in the comment box below. Okay, I want to give a shout out. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take one of these 8x10 canvases from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this beautiful burnt orange paint, and I'm going to paint the whole canvas, front and sides. Now I have seen these all over Facebook. I've seen them called exploding canvases or busted canvases. And I just thought they were so cool, and I had to make one. So if you've seen it before, I apologize, but it was new to me and I was really excited to make them. So I'm going to take some of this paper from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trim it down to fit on the inside part of my canvas. I'm going to use my Mod Podge there and just brush it all along the inside part of my canvas. And I did do a pretty heavy coat or thicker coat because the canvas does soak it in. Then I laid my paper just like you see it with the right side of the print facing up. And then once I had it all smushed into that Mod Podge, I just went around it again and added some more. And then I went around the front. I had marked where I needed it, and I'm just going to place it or brush it on the Mod Podge, that is, all around where I am going to need it. Then I took this napkin. I believe this came from Hobby Lobby. I removed the 2 plies that were behind it, and I laid it down just like it is, just like you see me doing. Then I'm just going to go over it again with some more Mod Podge to help protect it from any ripping and all that stuff. After that, now you want a sharp X-Acto knife or box cutter. I've seen people use scissors, but I am just cutting. I first cut down the middle, and then I'm cutting down the sides here. Then I'm going to cut at diagonals. So you'll just see what I'm doing right here. Just going to cut each section diagonally there. And this was pretty easy to do. I had to change out my blade for my X-Acto knife because it was kind of dull, and luckily I had one to change it out with because that was a lifesaver. Then I turned it around and I'm gonna start rolling those pieces and gluing them in place just like you see me doing right there. And you guys, that burnt orange color by Americana, the Deco Art Americana burnt orange, oh my gosh, I am loving this color. So after I had it all done, I'm gonna use my hot glue, and I don't know why I didn't use my Tight Bond glue. I don't know, but I am going to glue it to where my napkin is. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that I put the napkin on a thin canvas from Dollar Tree, 8x10, but you could use cardboard. It doesn't have to be the canvas. You just need a backing to put it on. So I glued the top canvas to the bottom canvas. Then I decided to go ahead and start filling the bottom corner with some sunflowers, since there's sunflowers in that napkin. I'm going to take some of this ribbon that came from Hobby Lobby, and then the brown ribbon, I don't know what you call it, mesh ribbon or whatever, from Dollar Tree. And then this is some ribbon I had in my stash from Hobby Lobby as well. And I'm just doing the awareness ribbon and scrunching them up in the middle. I'm going to use some twine to go around them and tie them all together. And then once I have them all tight, I'm going to trim off, or I'm going to cut off that tail of the orange ribbon, and then I'm going to dovetail the ends, and you just fold in half and cut at an angle to dovetail.
Just gives it a nice finished look. Then I'm just going to use my hot glue and I'm going to glue it right into the left-hand top corner, and then I'm going to add a little sunflower. Well, then I decided that wasn't enough, so I filled in the whole bottom of this canvas with sunflowers, and then I'm going to glue some in where the napkin is, and that's, I just, this is supposed to be exploding, and I thought how fun would it to make it look like it's exploding with sunflowers. So I took 4 tumbling tower blocks, glued them end to end, painted them with that burnt orange, and then used my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue and hot glue to make a stand, and there it is. I love how this came out. I think it is so beautiful. I can't wait to do this exploding canvas for some Christmas DIYs. I think it's going to be so much fun. It's so amazing. You have to let me know if you've seen these as well.